and debate. We want to make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the Christian, Muslim, or Jewish God, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your position. If you don't believe in the Christian, Muslim, or Jewish God specifically, then you need to be able to quickly and concisely explain your theistic position. All right, sound good? All right. I think I've got everything set up here. All right, so we'll try to see if we can start off on the right foot. Hi, Taki, how old are you?
Hello, friend. I'm, do I have to explain my age, or can I just say I'm above 18 for sure?
All right,
I'm
you're
just wondering.
like in your 20s or something?
Yeah, I'm over 20.
Okay. And what God do you believe in?
Jesus, Yahweh.
All right, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
Well, I know it's kind of not a philosophical argument or well-structured argument, but I would say the creation around us.
I don't know what that means. It sounds like you're just, it sounds like you're just, hold on. It sounds like what you're doing, and you know, I want to clarify this, and you can tell me if I'm misunderstanding, but by saying the creation around us, it sounds like you're presupposing that it is created, which seems to presuppose that there's a God. So obviously, yeah,
Okay.
if you include in your presuppositions before even examining evidence, if you include the presupposition that a God exists and created everything, well then yeah, you're going to interpret things in a way that points to a God.
Okay.
But since I don't have, I'm still talking, Taki. Since I don't have those presuppositions, then I would need you to give me the argument that would get me to God existing in the first place before this talking about a creation could mean anything to me. So what is the reason to believe in a God to begin with?
Okay, my English isn't so good, that's why I try to cut you off before I lose track. What I would, I'll elaborate on my point that I made. So I was thinking that when I say creation, right, before I was atheist, by the way. So I didn't assign this concept of God every time to what I was seeing. I thought it was all just random, whatever. Now, anything like a seahorse, a butterfly, a bumblebee, you know, plants, whatnot. I know you can just say you don't care what your actual evidence, but I don't understand how you.
Yeah, I still haven't heard any evidence. So what's
I
the
don't
argument or
understand how this
evidence that
comes
God
from.
exists?
I'm gonna answer now. I don't understand how it comes from.
I don't
a Big
care.
Bang.
I don't care. What's the argument or evidence that
Why?
God exists? That's what we're supposed to be discussing. You having
Okay, that's
like
my evidence.
no, that's not
mind cannot
evidence.
comprehend.
You saying
Okay.
that you're ignorant about something or there's a question that you can't answer is not evidence for some other proposition being true. So what I'm asking
Okay.
for isn't what do you think are difficult questions. What I'm asking for is what is the actual justification to think that it's true that a God exists. Those are completely different
Okay.
questions. You should be
Okay.
answering the latter, not the former.
Okay, so I would ask you how
No.
You can't even
Taki,
prove your position.
stop.
I can prove mine.
Stop. No, you can't. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, there's a seahorse that you can't create, so who created it?
That's a question. You're supposed to be providing the justification to
No,
think that it was a God.
No, it's an assertion. You
No,
can't create
you
a
aren't.
seahorse.
Yeah, you are just making assertions, but you're
make
not
a
backing up
seahorse.
your
Go ahead.
position. So
Make a
what is the
seahorse.
justification to think
Make
that a
a
God was
seahorse.
involved?
Make a seahorse.
Yeah, I notice how you're refusing to engage with the substance. Notice how
I don't know
notice
why
how
you're
you
smiling and
absolutely
thinking you're doing
cannot.
something. Just make a seahorse.
You know why I'm responding like I'm winning something?
coping.
It's because I'm
You're
winning.
coping, bro.
Because you refuse to engage with the substance. If you actually had a way to demonstrate that a
Why are
God
you getting so
exists,
angry,
if you
bro?
actually, oh, I know, I'm so angry. If you actually had a way to demonstrate that a God exists,
I'm not
if you
even
actually
debating, I'm
had
just
some
telling
argument
you.
or evidence,
You're wrong.
you would present it. But the fact that you don't present it
already
tells
told
us
you
that you
at the
don't
start.
have any. So here's
I
your
know.
one last opportunity, Taki. I will ask you the question one more time, and then it's your choice whether or not you actually
Yeah.
provide any arguments or evidence. So for the last time, what would be one piece of evidence or one argument that would actually provide justification to believe in a God, not just an assertion that God is
Yeah,
the answer
sure.
to a question that you don't
Sure.
actually know the answer to?
Sure. My evidence is that you cannot make a seahorse. Prove me wrong.
All right. Obviously, no arguments or evidence there. I never claimed to be able to make a seahorse. That's not an argument against a position. Make a seahorse right now. Wow, what a fantastic argument. just an intellectual, philosophical titan we're dealing with. Thank you so much, Poppy Loco, for the corgi. Appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you to Roldolf Lundgren. Appreciate that. And again, Poppy Loco. Poopman Jones, appreciate you so much. Thanks for the hat and mustache and all your support. Thank you to Mad Mind Musings. Thank you so much. Thank you, Casey, for the Spartan helmet, Disco Tits, for the support. Thank you, Yana and 24 Carat and Bradley Cooper. KC again, Radio Spencer, Nick, Alan Gibson. Man, you guys are just crushing it right out the gate. Thank you so much. And again, Poppy Loco. Appreciate you guys massively. Well, glad I could help you out, Poopman Jones. All right. If you are in the guest queue, or if you are thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are 18 plus, that you believe in the Bible, or excuse me, the God of of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and that you have some argument or evidence for your God belief. I'm not really sure who's next, so we'll go with this one.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 26.
And what God do you believe in?
I'm just holding towards a God existing.
That wasn't my question.
Yeah, well, I'm not holding towards a religion. So
okay, so I said specifically before you came up here what the requirements are. You have to do that. What God do you believe in?
I believe in a God.
All right, well, like I said, you have to believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, or at least be able to quickly and concisely explain your theistic position. You haven't done any of those things, so I'm going to ask one more time, and if you cannot give me the direct, informative answer, I'm moving on. What God do you believe in?
I believe in a immutable first cause.
Okay, so you haven't defined a God. So
that's what I define God to be.
No, that's not a God. That's not a God. So I will ask one more time. Do you? Let me ask it this way: do you believe in a God, or do you just believe that there's something that you think is the cause, but isn't necessarily a God?
I believe. Well, yeah, sure. I'll answer.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'll answer.
All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are 18 plus, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Don't do what that guest did. Actually, just answer the question. Then we'll be fine. Then we can have the conversation. All right. Looks like we're here. Thank you, Ashley. Oh, I'm sorry, Pokey. I think the notifications are working. Do I need to tag everybody? I don't know. Maybe I should. Hi, Orly. How old are you? Hello? 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 All right. Oh, I missed. What's this? Rock and roll. Hey, thanks, Poopman Jones. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Here we go. Oh, thanks, Christina. Hi, N. How old are you? Or not? Never mind. Okay. Once again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, before I bring up the next person, thank you so much for the support, Christina the Godless. Thank you, Bamboo and Dabnese. Appreciate you. Thank you, Pokegurumi. Again, Poopman Jones, thank you so much for the rock and roll. Love rocking out. Thank you, Eddie. And again, Dabnese and Lem. Thank you so much, Worth. Lem again. Poppy Loco. Martin. Everybody, appreciate you massively. Means so much to me. Thank you, everybody who's liking. Hopefully we can get to 10K likes here shortly and get in the algorithm, all that stuff. So appreciate you guys. All right, like I said, we'll bring up the next person here, which I think is this person here.
Hi there.
Hi, Adam. How old are you?
I am 36.
Okay. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. We'll do this one. Hi, Acro. How old are you?
21.
And what God do you believe in?
Christian God.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
All right.
Actually, I'm going to count to 3, and then I want you to say
can we
4. It
do
seems
that
like there's a pretty
backwards?
big
Can
delay.
we start-
1, 2, 3.
4.
Oof. I mean, we'll try, but that's pretty rough. So
Yeah.
what's the best argument or evidence for God?
Sorry. But I kind of want to do it a little different.
No, we don't do it a little
Why do
different.
you-
This is
so-
my stage, and you follow the rules. What's the argument or evidence for God?
Gotcha. That just for the simple fact that scientists still don't completely understand what consciousness is, therefore leads me to believe that there's a higher power that formed our consciousness.
So you're just giving an argument from ignorance? You're just like fully leaning into just fallacious reasoning?
What do you mean? This scientists literally don't.
I know.
they
Yeah,
what
you're saying that
consciousness is?
you're saying here's a thing I don't know, and so I'm just going to shove God into that gap in my knowledge. This is the very
So,
definition of a
that-
God of the gaps argument. This is fallacious reasoning.
So-
Like this, you literally could be the poster child for fallacious reasoning. This is not how we
Okay,
come
that-
to reasonable conclusions. So I will ask: do you have
Okay.
any non-fallacious arguments or evidence?
Do you have any non-fallacious arguments?
Oh, I'll take that as a
That
no.
you're using. Like you.
All right, so
So
I'll
you
ask you
just
one
show
more time.
signs and
I'll
the
ask you one
place,
more time. If you can't give a direct, informative
guy-
answer, then I'll
yeah,
just
this
move
guy
on.
nothing left.
What would be one piece of evidence or one argument that would actually provide a reason? Oh, okay. Ran away because I didn't accept. We don't know, therefore God. Okay. All right. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, please make sure that you're an adult, that you have that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Hi, Rex.
Kill
How old are
yourself,
you?
nigger, 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 nigger,
Okay,
nigger,
well,
nigger, nigger,
I don't know
nigger,
why-
nigger, nigger.
I don't know why TikTok won't just drop people as soon as you hit to drop it. It's really fucking annoying. Thanks, Ashley. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are an adult and that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
Hello,
Hi, Leon. How old are you?
45,
All right. Which God do you believe in?
the God of the Bible.
I assume you mean the Christian God.
Yeah,
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
the book of Genesis,
How does the book of Genesis provide a reason to believe in a God?
because he created everything.
That's the claim.
Now,
Yeah, I know that's the claim. What's the reason to think that it's true?
what do you mean?
I mean exactly what I said.
Because he created everything.
That is just the claim, Leon. I'm asking, what's the reason to think that it's true that he created things?
Because he created everything that's in our image.
Okay. Well, God isn't real because God didn't create anything. So now what do we do?
That's you saying that, but everybody
Right,
else
but-
don't say that.
I don't care. So
That's your only belief.
it's your word.
Belief.
Now it's just your word versus mine. How do we decide? How do we determine which of our claims is correct?
Do you read the Bible to KJV?
How do we determine which of our claims is correct, Leon?
Do you read the Bible to KJV?
Okay, so you have to actually just engage in the conversation, not run away to your own conversation because you know you can't handle the conversation that I'm trying to have. So if
No, actually,
if
can't
you
handle
say
the
God exists,
conversation.
if your position is
You
God
just don't
exists
wanna
because you
believe.
can cook.
But every knee shall bow and every tongue confess
Okay,
that
so
Jesus Christ is Lord.
all right. Never mind. Obviously, we're not going to make any progress there. Unbelievable. What is going on today, folks? Had nothing. All right. All right. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are an adult, that you have some that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Okay, then. Well, eventually, maybe we'll get to have a conversation. Should have told him about other religions. Yeah, maybe. Hey, good to see you too, Moon. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody, for liking. Looks like we're at 15,000 likes. That's fucking awesome. Thank you so much. I don't know. Oh, oops. Damn it. That's not what I wanted to do. All right. Hey, Kratos. Okay. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
Kill yourself, you little bald bitch ass nigga. Kill
Okay,
yourself.
why doesn't it just drop
these?
these trolls? Why the fuck won't it drop them? What the God, TikTok is so fucking annoying. But you notice how this is what theism has. Thank you, Pokey. This is what theism has. Theism has people who come up and won't even try to give an argument for their position. They just assert that it's true because it's true. Or you get theists like that who, you know, show their love by being hateful, bigoted pieces of shit. Okay. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Thanks, Bootman Jones.
You're going to hell, you little bald looking ass.
Why does all of these people, and it won't drop them right away? Why the fuck I have hit the drop thing a million fucking times and it won't disconnect them? It's so goddamn annoying. Really frustrating. Okay. No, I appreciate it, Red. I saw like 3 of you blocked him. Yeah, it's the same kid over and over and over again. All right. Hi, Rabia. How old are you?
Hiya.
How old are you?
Old enough, older than 18.
How old are you?
Bloody hell, 38.
Okay, and what God do you believe in?
Muslim.
What God do you believe in?
I'm a Muslim, so...
Okay, and then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
There doesn't need to be evidence, it's called faith.
Okay, well, did you hear what I said before you requested, or before you came up?
You said just to justify it.
You have to have some argument or evidence that provides justification to believe in a God. What is the argument or evidence that justifies your belief in your God?
Who's provided evidence so far?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question one more time. If you don't want to actually engage, then I can move on.
Just stop me, please.
All right, thank you. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
You're going to hell, you bald.
I don't know why the fuck it does this. It keeps...
Looking at, going to hell, everybody.
All right, so I don't understand what the fuck is going on, and it won't even mute him. It won't even fucking mute him. All right, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and reset the live. Fucking infuriating. It's frustrating enough that people do that. It's far more frustrating that TikTok won't just let me drop them. Fucking infuriating. All right, well, let's hope that we don't just get a billion trolls that I can't drop. Welcome back in, folks. Yeah, appreciate the shares. Hopefully we can get the likes back up again. Yeah. All right, well, hopefully people come back in and we can actually have some guests that are, you know, better representatives of their beliefs. Okay, as always, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're an adult, that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief, and that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. Hi, Nico, how old are you? Hello? Okay. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're an adult, that you have some argument or evidence for God's existence, and that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. Hi, Smart, how old are you?
Over 18.
How old are you?
Over 18.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question one more time, and if you can't answer simple questions, I will move on. How old are you?
I'm over 18.
All right, if you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Thanks for the shares and tapping. I appreciate that. All right.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Carl, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 47 years old.
Okay, what God do you believe in?
Yeah, I believe in the God of Allah, you know, like Muslim.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
Okay, every night before I go to bed, I always read my Quran.
Okay, I don't want to hear your personal testimony or stories about yourself. I want to hear arguments or evidence that God exists.
Okay. When I look up at
okay, I don't want to hear about you. I don't want to hear anything about you, Carl. I want to hear the arguments or evidence for God's existence.
Okay. A person I knew went to church.
I don't want to hear people's personal stories, yours or anyone else's. I want to hear the arguments or evidence that would provide reasons to believe in a God.
Okay. The water fountain of my school magically fixed itself.
All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some, you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Okay. Hi, P-Man, how old are you? Hello. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. I think this one might have been next. I have no idea. Hi, Noble. How old are you?
Hey, how are you doing? At 29.
Okay, and
Christian.
Okay, and then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide reason to believe in a God?
So I have a clue. Is Jesus also like evidence for Jesus okay as well?
It depends on what you mean. I mean, I'm looking for a reason to think that a God exists.
I believe that Jesus is God, so I think that's kind of where we run into a dilemma. I believe that he was a real person.
That's
that
fine, but he
actually
could
did
have been a
miracles.
real person and not have been God. So I need the reason to think
Yeah.
that God exists, not that some person who claimed to be God exists. I believe that there are people who've existed who've claimed to be God or have some connection to God. So that's fine. That's not interesting to me. That doesn't provide any demonstration or evidence for anything. That's what I'm interested in, is things that would actually provide evidence.
Okay, so evidence for Jesus is not sufficient for you.
Right, because let's say I grant
Yeah.
that Jesus really existed. That has nothing to do with whether a God existed. Just saying, yes, there was a guy who lived a couple thousand years ago and claimed to be a God has nothing to do with whether a
Okay.
God exists.
Understood. Shoot. Well, Yahweh is the God that, is mentioned in our Bible, right? That's his name. We give it a name. And, we have certain inscriptions of Yahweh, in Egypt.
Yeah, I know that people I know that people have believed in the God, and I know that people have written about it. That has nothing to do with whether a God exists. You realize
Outside
that
of the
people,
Bible, by the way.
I'm sorry?
Outside of the Bible,
I know. Yeah, I'm aware that people believe in God. You know that people write like Spider-Man fan fiction that exists outside of the Spider-Man comics, right? That doesn't mean that just because people write about it outside of the main source material that he's real. I'm concerned with whether or not God exists, not about whether there's fan fiction about him.
Okay, so I would say the common sense, I'll just use science since you don't want to stick with that. I mean, have you ever noticed that like everything that we've created is man-made, that has been man-made, like printers, healthcare providers, dentists, have all been copied from nature?
No.
Yeah, so if you look at cleaner fish, this is fish.
I understand that there are things in nature that serve functions similar to the functions served by things that we've created. That has nothing to do with anything. I'm looking for reasons to believe that God exists.
So
if you don't actually
I
have
think
anything of
intelligence is my
substance, then I'm
argument.
just going to go ahead and move on. So for the last time, do you have any substantive argument or evidence that would provide reason to believe in a God?
Intelligence.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Noble, but you actually need to stop. You need to wait until I'm done talking before you start talking. Otherwise, you're not actually going to hear what I'm saying, and we're not going to be able to have the same conversation. So for the last time, do you actually have any substantive arguments or evidence that would provide even a sliver of a reason to think that a God exists?
So intelligence is not enough for you?
I don't know. Just saying a noun, naming a concept doesn't do anything.
So can I just explain the detail? If you look
do you
at
notice again
everything
how
that's
you
ever been
couldn't
created-
wait until I was done talking? You had to jump in and interrupt me? I need you to stop doing that. That's extremely rude, and we're not going to be able to have a productive conversation. The reason that I interrupt you is because you're off topic. I'm trying to bring us back to the topic, and when you interrupt me when I'm trying to do that, it prevents us from being able to have a productive conversation. So what is the actual argument or evidence that will provide some sliver of a reason to think that God exists?
Because we have evidence that spirits exist and God is a spirit.
I could absolutely grant you that ghosts and spirits and all those things exist. It would not be a reason to believe in a God. What would be a reason to believe in a God?
God is a spirit.
Right, but Casper the Friendly Ghost is a ghost. But just because, even if you prove that ghosts are real, that doesn't mean that Casper's real. So I'm looking not for a reason to think that ghosts are real. I'm looking for a reason to think that Casper is real in the metaphor. So I don't need you to tell me that there are spirits. I need you to give me a reason to think that the specific spirit that is God is real.
Okay, so by deductive reasoning, right? If we know that God is a spirit and we know spirits exist.
Okay. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Thank you so much for your help, Ashley. Appreciate it. Oh, damn. Thanks, Poppy Loco. Really appreciate the support. Thank you, Oppo and Echoes of Fable as well. Massively appreciate your support. Thank you, Cake Against the Machine. And Mikey, appreciate you. Thank you so much, Benjamin Washington and Chumbawamba. Dabney's, Lupine, thank you so much. Thank you, Bradley N, Error 404, Dipster. Again, Bradley N, KC, thank you so much for all your support. Genuinely appreciate it. Thank you, Dipster and Lathe of Heaven. And once again, as always, thank you so much, Poopman Jones. And hey, both sides, thank you for supporting as well. I really appreciate everybody. Oh, I think I went a little overboard moving this down. Okay. Okay, so we'll try to see if we can actually have a debate here. There we go. Hi, Mixter. How old are you?
18.
All right. Obviously not true. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you are actually an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide justification for your God belief. Hi, Wayne. How old are you?
Yeah, how's it going?
Hi, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm actually 49.
I cannot understand you.
And I said I'm 49 from Dublin, Ireland, yeah?
Okay, well, we may struggle to communicate, but we'll do our best here. What God do you believe in?
Come here, at the end of the day, listen, I want to give you an ultimatum right here.
Okay.
Right?
All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, that you have some argument or evidence for your God, and that you're not coming here for some ulterior motive or to preach or anything. You're coming here to have the debate about whether God exists. Okay? I think it's pretty simple. Here we go. Hey, thanks, Bootman Jones. Hi, Sophia. How old are you?
18.
When were you born?
2006.
That took way too long. All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you actually are an adult. Make sure that you... Actually, before I bring up the next person, I'm going to do a quick shill. I have my YouTube still trying to build up followers over there. So if anybody's so inclined, I'd appreciate if you went over to youtube.com/@OgarDebates and drop a follow there. It makes helps a lot. We've got over 7,000 followers here, and I can't get to like 300 on YouTube. Yeah, okay. And then also I have a Discord, trying to build community there, looking for opportunities to learn and grow together, and also have more casual and fun conversations than the debates we're doing here. And then I appreciate massively the people supporting here on TikTok. I do have my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App there in case anybody's interested in supporting those ways, but I appreciate massively the people supporting here. Thank you to Richard Second Cummings. Thank you, Poopman Jones, Pit Pat, Richard again, and Poopman Jones again. Thank you, Eddie and the Ginger Ninja. Hercules, thank you so much. It's cool to see you in book club today. Thank you again, both sides, Poppy Loco, everybody for the support. Just need to go ahead and throw a block there. And all right, we'll drop this and bring up the next person. Make sure that if you're requesting, you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Who's next? It's going to be this one. Oh, I spoke with this person recently. Hi, Caesar. How old are you again?
I'm 39.
And are you Christian?
Yes, I'm Christian.
All right. What have you got for me today?
Okay, so I have a question for you, right, real quick.
Like I said, we're doing arguments or evidence for God.
Okay, well, I mean, you believe there's demons?
Of course not.
You don't believe there's demons out in the world?
No, of course
not. In the spiritual
realm?
realm?
No, I don't believe in a spiritual realm. What's the reason to believe in a God?
You never felt a demon's presence?
Okay, so these are just questions. These are just questions. What's the argument or evidence to believe in a God?
You know damn well there's demons, so of course.
Okay, so you don't want to actually have a substantive conversation?
Yeah,
oh,
you
just want to insult me? Okay, yeah. Wow, so informative. I know what'll happen if I go up there and I make claims that I can't support and insult him. Then everybody will know that I'm right. Just questions and insults. Not going to get us very far, unfortunately. Okay, once again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that yeah, exactly, Astronova. If you're in the guest queue, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. I think, nope. Oh no, they're all gone. All right. I think it's this one. I'm not sure if this person is going to connect. Hey, thanks, Oppo. Apparently this person is not connecting. All right. So yeah, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Maybe this one?
Hello.
Hi, Ryder.
I'm 21 years old and I'm Christian.
All right. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
The best argument is assuming I don't have a monkey brain. This world is too. There's not really a word for it, but this world is too nice for this to be a cosmic accident.
What's the reason to think
There's
that?
not really.
I didn't hear anything.
Specific word for it.
I didn't hear anything there about that would give me a reason to believe in a God.
To explain it, if it was a cosmic accident, it wouldn't. If it was a cosmic accident, it wouldn't look like this.
Yeah, that's the claim.
In fact,
that's the claim. You're saying if there was a God, it wouldn't be this way, so there must be a God. But that's what I'm asking for you to justify. What's the reason to think that it would be there couldn't be, or that it couldn't, the universe couldn't exist without a God?
Because there must be a reason.
Yeah, that's just the claim again, right? I don't need you to make
there must be a reason in the universe.
Yeah, I know that you think there has to be a reason. That's fine. What's the reason to think that there's a God, though?
I'm not talking about God specifically. I'm talking about like the first.
I know.
Statement,
I'm talking about God. I'm talking about a God. I don't know if maybe this is confusing to you. I'm talking about a God. So what you should be responding to, or what your response should include, is some reason to think that God exists. So what would be one argument or piece of evidence that would provide a reason to think that God exists?
I'm wondering which part of my statement you're disagreeing with.
I'm disagreeing with its relevance to this conversation. So do you have anything to say that would be relevant to this conversation?
Yeah. Wait, aren't you supposed to do a rebuttal, like saying why?
Yeah, as soon as you say something,
disagree.
As soon as you say something that's relevant to the conversation, I will respond to it. But so far, you haven't said anything that could be qualified as a reason to believe in a God. So I'm waiting for you to say something that is actually worth responding to. So I'm not gonna keep going in circles with you. I will ask this question one more time. If you're not able to give me a direct answer that is actually substantive, then I'm gonna move on. So what would be one argument or piece of evidence that would provide a reason to believe that a God exists?
I'm from West Africa, so my evidence is African spirituality.
You need to connect it to God, my guy.
So I should explain it. Okay. Every year, Africans put thousands of dollars into voodoo doctors and medicine men, to do their magic. If they're doing that, that means spirits exist, and if spirits exist, that means God.
No, if they're doing that, that means they believe spirits exist. That doesn't mean that spirits actually exist. So what would be the reason to think that a God exists?
Okay. So which part are you disagreeing with?
Okay.
If
Well,
spirit
clearly you don't
exi-
have anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. If you are in the guest box or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're an adult, that you have some, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. All right, where are we at? Looks like we have this person next. Yeah, that would be nice, Astronova. Actually, Catholic Thinker's trying to do that.
Hello.
Hi, Mason. How old are you?
18.
And what God do you believe in?
I believe in Christianity.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Okay, so not to
No, just give the argument or evidence.
I just want to ask you a question, just to clarify something.
Right, and I already told you that what you should be doing is providing the argument or evidence.
So it's not okay if I ask you a question?
That was a question, and I already told you it wasn't okay, so you're on thin ice. I'm going to ask you one more time. If you can't respond substantively, then I'm just going to move on. Okay, fair enough. Self-selecting, I guess. Well, I couldn't possibly actually give an argument or evidence. Okay. And, where are we at? All right, here we go. Okay, so if I haven't already said this 1,000 times, but if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. All right, born again, how old are you?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 43.
And which God do you believe in?
I'm a Christian.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
I'm an ex-druggie, alcoholic. I'm an ex-druggie, alcoholic. And
I don't want to hear your personal story, born again. I want to hear the reason to believe in a God.
Because he saved me.
Okay, that assumes that God exists. So you need to give me a reason to think that God exists before I could possibly believe that God saved you. So what's the reason to think that God exists?
Because I prayed to him and he helped me.
Okay, right. Again, that just assumes that a God exists. I don't need you to tell me that you think God exists or that you think he did things. What I need you to do is give some argument or evidence that would provide reason to think that God exists.
I can't turn around and prove to you, that God exists. That nobody on this earth can turn around and say.
Okay, well, if you already are saying that you don't have any arguments or evidence, that's fine. I will grant that, and I'll move on. Oh boy. It's a weird strategy to be like, well, the evidence is that nobody has evidence. Like, okay. All right. If you are in the guest queue or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Looks like this is the next person. Thanks again for the help, Ashley.
What's up, bro?
Hi, Karan. How old are you?
I'm 20 and turning 21.
And I assume you're Muslim?
Yeah, I'm a Muslim, yeah.
All right. And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
Okay, let's make this fast, because I don't have time for this. It's a stupid
Then you
question.
shouldn't be saying all that bullshit. Just give the argument or evidence.
No, I'm telling you right now.
I'm not hearing any argument or evidence. So what's the argument or evidence?
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay. Let's say, see your phone in there. Who created your phone?
I don't know.
You don't know who created your phone?
No, I do not know the name of the person. I assume it was actually probably multiple people involved. Probably some machines too.
Okay, wait. Okay, let's make another example. Let's say.
Do you know the name of the person who made your phone?
Yeah, bro.
Oh.
It's an iPhone, bro, of course.
Yeah, what's the name of the person who assembled it?
Elon Musk.
You think Elon Musk, who has nothing to do with
bro.
Apple, works at the factory that makes the iPhones and personally assembled your
it's
cell
his
phone?
work, isn't it? It's his work. They should. There must be a creator.
It doesn't sound like you have anything, Karan.
Bro, I have.
Okay, so give me some
telling
argument
you.
or evidence, not flailing around with this phone bullshit.
Bro, I'm asking you, who created your phone? Bro?
Yeah, that's a question
You think
that doesn't arguments or evidence. I'm asking for arguments or evidence, not for you to like try to run an interview.
Okay. Bro, I'm trying to tell you.
Stop
bro,
saying that stuff. Stop saying that stuff. You shouldn't be saying anything other than just the argument or evidence that God exists. You don't need to say anything else.
God exists.
Yeah, I know that's the claim. What's the justification for that claim?
Okay, then how did we come
That's
to
a
this world?
question.
Who
Remember
made
how I
Adam?
told you shouldn't be
Okay,
asking
who made
questions?
Adam? Who made Adam?
That's a question
Did Adam
again.
disappear?
That's another question.
Did Adam
So that's another
disappear from
question.
nowhere?
That was a question again.
Huh?
So you should not be asking questions. You should be providing an argument or some evidence that a God exists.
Oh, you want evidence?
Yeah, an argument or evidence. That's what I've been asking for since you got here.
So what kind of evidence you want?
Evidence that provides justification to believe in a God.
What? So you don't believe?
That's
in
a
any
question
God?
again. That was another question.
Bro.
No.
No.
Okay, so what's the argument or evidence for God?
See your eyes in it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question one more time. And if you ask me a question back or don't give an argument or evidence, then I'm going to know that you know there is no reason to believe in God. You're just too embarrassed to admit it. And so if you don't want everyone to think that you know there's no reason to believe in God, then you probably should just provide the reason. So what's the reason to believe in a God?
The reason. There's a lot of reasons.
Okay. Oh, the reason? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Yeah, okay. That's really informative. Oh my goodness. All right. If you are in the guest queue or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Hi, Yaniel. How old are you?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
18.
When were you born?
2008.
Okay, and what God do you believe in?
Christian God.
All right, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide justification to believe in a God?
Because Newton's first law.
Just so everybody knows what it is, what's Newton's first law?
An object in motion stays in motion. An object in rest stays in rest unless acted on by an outside force.
And why would that give us a reason to believe in a God?
Because, well, energy in the universe, it couldn't have been just like.
Wait, did you say Newton's first law, but you actually meant the second law of thermodynamics? Because it sounds like you're trying to talk about entropy now.
I guess. I don't know. But like
I can tell that you don't know.
In motion, you can't. Nothing can be in motion unless acted on by a force. So
no, that's not what that means.
What do you mean? That's not what that means.
It just means that if something's already in motion, it'll continue moving unless acted on, or if it's not in motion, then it won't begin moving until it's acted on. It doesn't say like. You're just misrepresenting what the law is. And again, it sounds like you're actually trying to use this as an entropy argument, but that's not entropy. So you need to square away what point you're actually trying to make and how it's supposed to get us to a God.
Okay, well, what about life can't come from no life?
Well, neither of us believes that, because you believe that life came from God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and God's clearly not alive. He doesn't fit the definition of life.
No, he's like outside.
Yeah, but he's not alive, right?
No.
Right.
He can't be.
Right, exactly. So you think that life came from non-life, aka God, who is not alive, and I think that life came from non-living chemistry. So we both we both hold the position that in fact life did come from non-life. So saying life can't come from non-life when you hold the position that life came from non-life is absolutely ridiculous. So do you want to say something that isn't an immediate contradiction?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you give an argument or evidence where you're not just instantly contradicting yourself?
Okay, I don't know. I'll come back again though.
All right. Yeah. Have a good one. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Okay. Where are we at? I think we're at this one. Oh, damn. Thanks, Poppy Loco. Hi, Tosca. How old are you?
Hey, I'm 18.
And what God do you believe in?
In the Christian one. Sorry if I'm bad at English.
Okay, and what would you say is the best reason to think that a God exists?
I mean, the creation of the universe, I would believe. Like, do you believe in the Big Bang Theory?
I do, but I don't believe that the universe was created. Why should I think the universe was created?
I mean, do we have proof of how the universe began to exist?
Nope.
So it all comes down to opinion. Like, isn't that like
right? So you're saying you don't. So you're saying you don't have a reason to believe in God, but you believe anyway.
I mean, what else could justify?
That's a question, Tosca. You don't need. You should not be asking questions. You should be providing the reason to think that God exists.
Didn't I just give you one?
Nope. I haven't heard one.
So my justification. So I believe in God because we don't know how exactly the universe was created. That
okay,
was
hold on. You're saying that we don't know how the universe is created, so then you just assume that God created it, even though you don't have any reason to think that?
That will be an answer to why the
yeah, but
universe
it's a made-up answer. I can just say, you know who actually made the universe?
Yeah, it's
you want to know who actually made the universe?
Who?
Well, obviously it was Eunice the universe farting unicorn. Science doesn't know whether the universe came into existence or how, so it must have been that there was a magical unicorn who ate a spicy hypotenuse, got a little bit of a rumbly in her tumbly, and then she farted out the universe. That it must obviously be the answer. There couldn't possibly be another answer. If you want me to believe in anything other than Eunice the universe farting unicorn, you would have to provide the argument or evidence.
Yeah, bro. Okay. Just to be clear, I don't believe we actually are that smart to actually have an answer for anything.
Oh well, then it must have been Eunice. If you don't, if you can't provide the answer, then it must be Eunice.
Bro, do you understand that maybe?
So, do you have any reason to think that your God did it, or should I just keep believing it was Eunice?
You can believe in anything you want, bro.
Right. So you have no reason. So you actually don't have a reason to think that your God did it,
bro.
You just believe it without a reason.
We don't really have an answer, bro.
Okay, so you believe in Christianity without a reason, right?
I mean, from the moral.
I need you to just answer the question. I need you to just answer the question. Is it true that you believe in the Christian God without any reason to believe in it?
No.
Oh, then what is the reason to believe in it?
What it preaches and
that's not a reason to believe it's true. That's a reason for you to want it to be true. What's the reason to think that it actually is true?
Bro, how? Like what?
No, you should not be asking me questions. You're supposed to be presenting the reason that you have to think that God exists. You said you do have a reason.
That's okay. That's actually my reason, bro. I'm sorry if you cannot.
I haven't heard a reason. What's the reason?
My reason is my own belief here, bro.
Okay, so the reason that you believe is because you believe?
Exactly.
That's the same as saying you don't have a reason to believe.
Bro, okay.
Okay, so then just admit it. You believe without a reason.
Bro, that like it
Just
all comes down
admit
to
that you
opinion.
believe without having a reason to believe.
I agree, bro. It all comes down to opinion, bro. It all
Right.
comes
You
down
don't
to
have a
opinion.
just say, I don't have a reason to believe in God, but I believe anyway.
I don't have a reason to believe in God, but I believe in Him. Yeah.
All right. Well, stop doing that. That's really fucking stupid. All right. If you, hey, thanks so much, Puffin and Poppy Loco. Thank you. Holy shit, that bunny DJ. That's fucking awesome, Poppy Loco. Thank you so much. And the fireworks. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you so much for the support. I was looking over some like analytic stuff and holy shit, Poppy Loco, you've been supporting so much. I mean, obviously there's a ton of you that do, but I just wanted to sincerely thank you for that. And I mean, honestly, everybody. Now I will kind of, again, because I'm, kind of pointing out support and stuff. I would love to get my YouTube up to 1,000 so I can do more on that platform. So if anyone is willing or so inclined to go over to YouTube and drop a follow, I would greatly appreciate it. I also have the Discord. If anyone's interested in joining and being a part of the community there, that would be fantastic. And then I do have my PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App up in case anybody's interested in supporting that way. Not expected, obviously, but it is an option. And then I just want to say thank you so much to all the people supporting here on TikTok. I love that you're using humor as a threat now, and that's exactly correct. Thank you to Discordant Rhyme and Benjamin Washington. Thank you so much, Goatman and Lem. Thank you, Radio Spencer. Thank you so much to Puffin and Poppy Loco for sending the big gifts. Thank you. Thank you, Grace, for being here, for supporting. Thank you, Philosophy and Vertigo Twin. Thank you so much to Goblin Brain, Frederick, 3 Pips, again, Poppy Loco and Lem. Thank you, Guido, for that awesome pink cowboy hat from earlier. Appreciate you massively for that. Thank you to Dr. Cliff Furby. That's awesome. Thank you. All Religious Rejects. Appreciate you. Thank you, Mitch and Oppo and Hobbs. Thank you so much to Peanut Butter and again, Oppo and Telerin and Risen. Thank you massively, Mason. Thank you, Richard Second Cummings. Poopman Jones, as always, supporting massively. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Pit Pat. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Genuinely appreciate it. Makes a huge difference to me. Literally tomorrow, my first semester of college starts, so it's going to be a little crazy. Speaking of which, I'm not sure that I'll be streaming tomorrow, so we'll see. Just based on how busy I'm going to be with school and everything. Just kind of want to get off on the right foot, so we'll see whether or not I stream. I'm not sure. But okay. If you're in the guest queue or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. No, actually, I know I'm 40, but I'm actually just about to start my first semester of college. I never went to college when I was younger. I focused on music and went straight into my career in the financial world, and so I never went to school. So I'm fixing that now. All right, so we'll bring up the next person, which looks like is this person here.
Hi.
Hi, Ezra. How old are you?
32. I'm from Sweden.
Okay, and what God do you believe in?
I believe in Allah. I'm Muslim.
Okay, and then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us reason to believe in a God?
Because if you could show the palms of your hand just to the camera quickly.
What's the reason to believe in a God?
Yeah, could you show your palms?
Everyone knows what palms of
hands.
hands look like. What's the reason to believe in a God?
So in Arabic, the letters is 8-1. If you can see the
I don't care.
writing on your
I'm
hand.
just asking you for a reason to believe in a God.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear about your
Yeah,
numerology bullshit.
No, I'm gonna say it. So in our hands we have.
No, just give me a
and
reason to believe
18.
in a God. I don't need to hear this numerology bullshit.
All right, but I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, well then
The reason why-
don't do this hand or numerology stuff.
Okay, but we believe in 99 names of God.
I don't
Isn't
care.
it, in short?
I don't care. Just give me the reason to think that God exists.
Okay, so I'm trying to tell you that.
Yeah,
God
so give me an
has
actual
given-
argument or some evidence, not some
but
like
God
mystical
has
woo
written
bullshit.
it. God has written it in everyone's
Yeah, that
hands.
just okay.
We
That
have
just assumes that a God exists. I can't believe that God wrote something on our hands if I don't believe that God exists. So what's the reason to think
If
that a
we-
God exists?
Okay, so could you explain how?
That's
can you
asking
do
me a
anything-
question, Azad.
No,
You're supposed to be
but-
giving a
all right,
reason to
no.
believe in a God.
Yeah,
You don't
but-
need to ask
all
me
right,
a question.
But have you seen?
That's asking me a question
created-
again. You don't need
Yeah,
to
but-
ask me a question.
So you can ask me questions, but I can't ask you questions.
The only question I'm
Should we have
asking
a
you,
discussion?
the only question I'm asking you is what's a reason to believe in God? And we can absolutely have a discussion. As soon as you present a reason to believe, then we'll discuss that reason.
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons to believe, and I'm going to tell you one.
Yeah, just tell me one
That's-
of them then.
Yeah. So, in our hands.
I don't want to
is
hear about our
written-
hands, Azad. I'm done with the hands. If you mention the hands again, I'm just moving on. What's a reason to believe in a God?
Okay, so if you take a photo of Africa, the whole continent of Africa. If you take the picture from above, it's written Allah all over it. You can. It's been mentioned a lot of times.
Fantastic. What's a reason to believe in a God?
Okay, so in the book of Quran, it gives us the things that's gonna happen in the future, things we couldn't have known.
That's fine. Why would we expect a God to give prophecies in a book like that?
Because he's trying to tell us to follow our lead.
Why would we expect a God? Why would we expect a God to do that?
Because we have fallen off our path.
You're not
believing.
answering the question, Azad. I'm asking why would God want to do that?
Because we have stopped believe.
Yeah, why does
We
God
have stopped
care?
believing in God.
Why would a God care?
Because we're here in a test.
So why would a God
show
care? Why would a God test us?
Because we said to God, we believe in you.
I'm
But
asking you to give me a reason for the how we would know that the God would have these motivations.
You're not letting me speak.
Because you're not
letting me
answering the
speak.
question. As soon as you actually answer the
Yeah,
question, I'll let you speak.
Every time I'm trying.
Because you're not answering the
confused,
questions
that's
every time you act. If you were to actually answer the question, I would not interrupt you. So I'm just trying to get you to explain to me why I would think that a God would have these motivations.
Because he wants us to do
That's
good things,
claiming
right?
that he has the motivation. I don't want you to tell me he has the motivation. I want you to give me the reason we would expect God to have that motivation.
Can you tell me that again? Can you repeat yourself?
You're telling me that there's some motivation God has. I'm asking, why would we think that if a God existed, it would have that motivation?
Why? Because he wants us
That's just
to-
Azad.
He sent
Azad.
us- no, but
Azad.
he sent
Azad.
us-
Azad.
Yeah.
Stop. I'm not asking you to tell me what you think God wants. I'm asking you to tell me how you know what God wants.
Because it's written in the book.
Okay, but that just assumes that the book is correct, which assumes that the God exists. So again, like what we need to do is start from hold on, I'm trying to explain it to you. I'm trying to explain it to you. We need to start from a position of saying, okay, let's imagine we have no idea whether a God exists. We're starting at ground zero. And we're saying, if a God did exist, what would we expect from that God? You're saying
that's what I'm
your
trying-
claim
Okay.
you're not going to be able to understand if you just talk over me.
Yeah, I understand now.
No, you don't understand. Okay, so if you understand, what am
Okay.
I asking you for?
Okay, so you're asking me, how am I gonna prove for you that this book is real or God is?
No, that's not what I'm asking at all. Again, you're pretending that you understand, but you're not actually listening.
Okay, tell me that again.
Okay, and are you going to interrupt me this time?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Okay, so you're telling me what you think God wants. I know that you think God has these desires and these motivations. I'm asking you, if we don't know that a God exists, why would we think that the God would have these motivations?
Yeah, but look, the proof.
Answer the
God
question,
existing,
Azad. Answer the question.
Why would he have the motivation? Is that your question?
Why would he have these motivations?
For us to believe in him.
That's the motivation that I'm asking you to explain why we would expect him to have.
Yeah, so I'm asking you. Is
No,
that the
don't
question?
ask me
The
a
whole
question. Answer me why we would expect God to have these motivations.
He doesn't have any motivation of us trusting in him. We said to him that
You're saying
he said,
that God made this world to test us. Why would we think that if a God existed, it would make a world to test us?
because when the devil
that just
said to
assumes that
him,
the devil exists, and that assumes that God exists. You don't get to
once
just
again,
start.
alright.
Hold on, stop. You don't get to start with the assumption that God and the devil exist. You have to provide a reason why we would think, if we didn't know they existed, that they would have these motivations. So I'm going to ask you the question one last time. If you cannot provide a direct, informative answer, then I'm just going to move on. So for the last time, what would be the reason we would think that if a God existed, it would have these motivations?
All right. So a scientist, a Muslim, and
All right. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Okay. Hi, Blood. How old are you?
33.
And I believe you're Christian. Is that correct?
I am.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
So I'm going to give what's called the argument.
I don't need
for
this preamble. I just need you to give the argument or evidence.
Excuse me?
I don't need the preamble. Just give the argument or evidence.
Preamble. So you consider preamble.
Okay,
me
this
saying
right
I'm gonna
now,
give the
this right
argument
now,
for-
this right now is
Wait.
what I'm saying not to do. So if you do more of this, then I'm just going to move on. So what's the argument
The
or
argument
evidence?
for psychophysical harmony. This could have been a good conversation, but now I'm going to have to put belt to butt. So psychophysical harmony is going to be the argument.
Why would I believe that there needs to be an explanation when there is no such harmony?
Wait. Let me actually give the premises.
I
Right,
already
so
know
get-
this stupid ass argument. I'm
You're-
asking
well, you may
why
not
I would
know my
have, why this would
formulation.
have any motivation, why this would give me any motivation to believe something when I don't have a reason to think that there is such harmony, much less that there needs to be an explanation for harmony
Well,
that
that's
doesn't
why I'm going to
exist.
give an argument for psychophysical harmony. So
Yeah,
how about you
you're
get
just
your
you're
computer
presupposing.
ready,
So you're
and get ready to type
presupposing.
it.
So you're
No, it's an argument. It's
so
not
no,
a presupposition.
yes,
Try
the
again.
argument. Maybe you haven't actually read the literature on this, and if not, I'm sorry. That's not
I
my
have.
fault. But the argument,
an
the argument presupposes some form of dualism. I don't hold to dualism, so you would need to first give an argument for dualism that's compelling before an argument for psychophysical harmony could have any meaning to me. So, do you
Perfect.
have
Let's
an
get ready
argument for
premise
dualism?
one. Let's get ready for premise one.
The argument for
You ready?
dualism, right?
This is the argument that is going to associate that psychophysical harmony
No.
is both logically and metaphysically possible.
No, Blood, you don't
such as
understand.
that it is abductive. Wait a second.
Oh,
wait a
you're gonna
second.
put belt to butt, but you
Why
can't
are you
even
running?
follow a single fucking thing.
Why are you
my
running?
what was my response to you wanting to run psychophysical harmony? Steel
I
man,
can
my
give you-
response.
You don't even know my argument.
Steel man, my response.
Yeah, your argument is that I need to make an argument for dualism first.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Otherwise, there's no harmony to explain.
You're presupposing that my argument is going to necessarily require that. My argument specifically substantiates this. It's an inference to the best explanation. It is an abductive argument.
It's an
that
argument
is going to
explaining what?
substantiate-
And
Wait,
what is it
wait,
explaining,
watch.
Blood?
Watch.
What
is
is it
an argument
explaining?
That is going to substantiate
What is it explaining?
that psychophysical harmony is both logically and metaphysically possible, such
No,
as that theism
you're
provides an
misunderstanding.
inference to the best explanation.
You're misunderstanding. You're trying to give
You
an
don't even know
argument.
the premise.
You're trying to give an argument to, for the, like an abductive argument for something that you think is an explanation that I don't think needs to be explained. If there's nothing to explain, then there's no
so you think it's
reason.
brute? You think it's brute?
No, there's there's nothing to harmonize. You're trying to say.
Wait, is it a brute fact or a contingent fact that requires explanation under a strong or weak PSR? Which one?
Dude, that's not what we're talking about at all.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm
That's what my
saying no.
argument
You're
does.
misunderstanding. So tell me, if you're paying attention, if you actually understand my critique or my response, tell me what my position is.
Your position is that I need to give an argument for dualism because you don't think that there is psychophysical harmony. My argument is not to say there absolutely is psychophysical harmony in the sense that you have to believe it, but rather that it is metaphysically and logically possible for it to be the case. And if it is possible to be the case and it's not brute, then it provides an inference to the best explanation.
I don't care
That's
that
it.
you. I don't care that you
How
think
about-
that psychophysical harmony is possible, because what I'm telling you is that on my view, there could not possibly be such harmony because there's nothing to harmonize. You don't need to explain the harmony between A and B if A is equal to B. So what you need to do is show me that A is not equal to B and that there is some harmony to explain.
You're so running, bro.
I
Just
know
let
it's
me
so
get the
running
argument.
to actually know the argument and actually know that it doesn't apply to my worldview.
The argument that I'm going to give is not the one that is written in the literature. It's a reformulation of it.
But in order for me to care about psychophysical harmony or anything like psychophysical harmony, I would need to believe that there is some harmony that could possibly exist. So in the only way that I can believe that there is such a harmony is if you can get me to believe that there's a difference between physical stuff and mental stuff. That's why I said you have to give an argument for some form of dualism before this psychophysical harmony stuff can even get off the ground. So unless you have an argument for dualism, this is a non-starter.
No, you don't know that because I can
I
give
do know
premises.
that. I do know that.
No, you don't.
What is
No, you
psychophysical
don't.
harmony, Bought by Blood? What is psychophysical harmony?
Psychophysical harmony is just going to say that our conscious experiences are systematically correlated with physical brain states such a way that the psychophysical mapping is not ultimately brute but requires explanation.
No, so you're missing a very important thing there. The whole point of psychophysical harmony is to say that there is some hard problem of consciousness, some difference between physical stuff and mental stuff, and that we should think it's surprising that there are psychophysical laws harmonizing the mental stuff and the physical stuff. The problem here is that I don't believe that there's a difference between mental stuff and physical stuff. I think that they're identical. So if they're identical, then there is no harmony to explain. So the only way that psychophysical harmony could possibly mean anything to me is if I thought there was a harmony to explain. I don't see one. You need to give an argument that such a thing exists. And the only way to give an argument for that is to demonstrate that there is in fact a difference between mental stuff and physical stuff, which is why I said from the very beginning that you would need to give an argument for some form of dualism.
Your psychological states are not going to be the arbiter of what is considered evidence
No,
for
but
or
it is what.
against
Okay,
theism.
do you maybe you just don't understand how argumentation works? There are two very important aspects of any argument that you present in a debate. So the number one thing is you have to give an argument with premises that that are going to be compelling to your interlocutor.
So let's go through
both
the
of the
premises.
both of the rules are involved that they're going to be compelling. I misspoke there. So what I'm saying, the two things is number one, you have to give premises that your interlocutor is likely to agree with, and you have to present those premises in a way that your interlocutor is likely to understand. Now, the problem here is that your argument is trying to explain something that I don't think exists. So in order for you to be presenting an argument that is going to be compelling to me at all, you have to be explaining something that I do think exists. In order to get me to think that is your argument an attempt to provide an explanation for psychophysical harmony?
How do you know that my
Is your
premise-
argument an
Wait,
attempt
wait,
to
wait,
provide
wait,
an
you just said a
explanation
lot.
for psychophysical harmony?
You just said a lot.
I'm
It is
asking
that
you a yes or
theism-
no question. Is your
theism
argument
is a better explanation?
I'm asking
for
you
why it is the case. Yes, I'm answering your question.
No,
Pay
just give me
attention.
the yes or no.
Pay attention.
I'm going to ask the question one
attention.
more time. If you can't respond directly with a yes or no, then I'm
You
just
don't
going to
even want
drop
me to
you.
give premises,
So
brother.
is your argument an attempt to
Are
show
you
a
LARPing
potential
as an intellectual?
explanation
Is that it?
for psychophysical harmony? Yes or no?
Are you LARPing as an
All
intellectual?
right. Thank you for the
Is that
concession.
game?
Unbelievable. This guy doesn't even know the most basic fucking thing about psychophysical harmony. Yeah. If you don't understand what psychophysical harmony is, then there's nothing that we can do. There's no way to have a debate. Literally just like, I know how to explain a thing that you don't think exists. Like, why the fuck would I care about an explanation for something I don't think exists? Doesn't make any sense. Hey, thanks everybody for supporting Bought by Blood. I get the majority of that, so thanks for supporting me. And thanks for the people who supported me directly. Thank you to, I don't know what this is, Coral One? Maybe that's what it is. I was almost at Choralone. Thank you, Coral One. Thank you so much, Lou, for your support. Thank you to Yos and Sam and Danny for supporting me. I probably don't need to say all that, but appreciate you guys supporting me through Bought by Blood. Thank you to Lou again. Thank you so much. What is this? The Reader is amazing. Thank you for your support. Appreciate you, Slice. Lone Drow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lamb, and again, Lone Drow. Paul, a solipsist, appreciate you. Looks like more support from Lou. Thank you so much. Poppy Loco, killing it again. Appreciate you massively. Goblin Brain, thank you for the goat. Discordant Rhyme and Benjamin Washington, Goatman, Lem, Radio Spencer, thank you all so much. And then it looks like also Lone Drow again, Oppo, Goblin Brain, like I said, with the goat, and Bradley Cooper. Thank you all massively for the support. All right. I'll just do. I didn't understand. It doesn't apply to physical lists. All right. If you are in the guest queue, or if you are thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult. Make sure that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
Yeah. So what's up, man?
How old are you?
To be honest here.
How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 21.
And what God do you believe in?
Yeah, Yahweh.
I need you to give an unambiguous answer, or I'm just going to move on. What God do you believe in?
I said Yahweh. What do you mean?
That's an ambiguous answer, so I will ask for one last time. What God do you believe in?
Yeah, the Christian God.
Fantastic. See, I knew you could do it. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
Yeah, I'm just going to do the argument of the cause of causality. So basically,
the argument of what?
I believe that. Yes, I believe I'm getting there. I believe there is a higher.
What was the thing that you said? You said I'm going to give the argument from something. What did you say?
Yes. So everything has to be caused. Is what I wanted to say.
Okay, so you're giving the Kalam?
I mean, kind of. I don't run this argument that much, but I can try. So what I would say though is that there has to be a higher power for something to be caused. If not, therefore, like even you as an atheist, you believe that.
I'm not following what your argument is supposed to be. Can you slow it down and lay it out for me?
I'll give you an example.
No, don't give me an example. Just give me the argument.
I mean, I'm getting there, but you're not letting me talk.
Okay,
so
no, you're not. I don't want you to get there, Yus. I want you to be right now. I want you to be at the part where you give me the argument.
Yeah, so when I say causal causality, what it means is that, for instance, for something to be able to come, there is something that must cause this something to come.
What do you mean for something to come?
I mean, it's like it could something to exist in reality.
Okay, so you're saying that in order for anything to exist, it has to be caused to exist?
Yep.
Okay, so I will go ahead and render an argument based on that principle. So we'll go premise one. For anything that exists, it must have a cause. Then we'll say if God exists, he doesn't have a cause, and then we would say God exists, and so then our conclusion is going to be God has a cause and God doesn't have a have a cause. So now you need to resolve this contradiction in your view.
No, you just added the three other premises which I disagree on. When I say cause,
which premise do you disagree with?
Yeah. So there has to be a first cause.
So this is 1, 2, or 3. Yes. Which premise do you disagree with?
I disagree with like pretty much all of them.
Oh, you disagree with the premise God exists?
I disagree with the premise that God has to be caused.
You said that you're the one that said that. You said anything that exists, it must have a cause, and you hold that God exists. That's your premise. And then I just added the premise that I know you agree with. If God exists, he doesn't have a cause. So that's why we're at the contradiction. So which of these three do you reject? 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, I just told you. Are you tracking? I told you the one that like literally the C. God has a cause.
You fucking moron. So now you're just rejecting logic. So now you're just rejecting logic.
Did I say there has to be a first cause there, mister?
You said for anything that exists, it must have a cause. That's what you said.
Okay, okay. Now I'm saying there has to be a first cause here. Now what? Okay.
Okay, so what you actually meant to say is that you reject your premise 1.
No.
So you don't reject premise 1.
I just didn't.
Okay, so we're gonna go through this slowly, yes. We're gonna go through this slowly, yes. So we're gonna go through this slowly. Hold on. Calm down. Calm down. Hold on, yes. You need to stop. Just take a deep breath. It'll be okay. I know it's scary, but it'll be okay. So
I'm not scared.
Your original premise was that for anything that exists, it must have a cause. Do you agree with that statement?
You can add on first cause there as well.
I need you to answer yes or no. Do you agree with that statement?
If it's outside of God, yes, I agree. If not, no.
I'm asking you yes or no. Do you agree with this statement as written?
I just clarified it for you.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one more time. If you can't just give the yes or no answer, then I'm going to drop you. Do you agree with this statement that's highlighted? Yes or no?
Nope.
Fantastic. See how easy that was? Great. So now let's start over. And why don't you tell me the actual reason to believe in God, and don't give a premise that you're going to have to disagree with in 5 minutes when I show you that you're wrong.
Yeah, no worries. So let's reframe that since you're being dishonest. So there.
I'm being dishonest. Yep, I'm being dishonest by reporting what you said.
Yeah, there has to be a first cause, which is God.
And why does there have to be a first cause?
I mean, don't you agree?
That was a question that you didn't answer. I know that it's scary to actually try to answer questions that support your position when you believe in stupid shit like Christianity, but that is your job in this debate. So what is the reason to think that there has to be a first cause?
Yeah, so the same way you believe or that you exist, you believe that you were caused by your parents. It's the same way that I believe God exists, right? Because God.
That doesn't an answer to the question. What is the reason to think that there must be a first cause?
What is the reason to believe that you came from your parents?
Okay, so I will ask the question one more time. If you can't actually answer, then everyone will know that you're not answering because you know you don't have an answer. Because obviously, if you had an answer, you would give it. So for the last time, what's the reason to think that there must be a first cause?
Thank you. I heard your question. The same way that you believe that you came from your parents.
Right. That has nothing to do with why there should be a first cause, so thank you for the concession. Okay. Okay. Sorry, doing some maintenance stuff here. All right. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support. Massively, massively appreciate you. Thank you to Lem and Lone Drow. Thank you so much, Poopman Jones, for the pink cowboy. Love it. Absolutely. Thank you, Bradley Cooper, and everybody for the support. You guys fucking rule. I do want to mention again, thank you, Doc Nancy. I will mention again that I have the YouTube and the Discord if anyone's interested in supporting or joining in those ways. Thank you so much, Neurospicy Cat Lady, for the heart me. I need to. No, okay, we're good. All right, so we will go ahead and drop this. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Hey, thanks, Philo Dragon. Appreciate you. Fuck yeah, thanks so much.
Sure.
Hi, Deathless.
Hi.
So are we going to be able to have a reasonable conversation, or are you just going to say something, misunderstand it, and then pretend you won?
Well, you've lost every argument you've ever had with me. All of them. Literally all of them. So do me a favor, bring your notepad. Bring your notepad.
So what's the reason to think that God exists?
Just bring the notepad up. We're going to write it out.
What's the reason to think that God exists?
Yeah, bring the notepad. We're going to write it out so that way you track.
I can write it out.
I'm just going to steel man your position.
You steel man my position?
Yep, definitely.
I just want the argument or evidence that God exists.
Sure. So the definition of God is a transspatiotemporal set of a transspatio. Let's put a transspatiotemporal omniproprietary identity.
What is a transspatiotemporal proprietary identity?
Transspatiotemporal is that space-time limitations are impertinent to it and have no causal say on it. And omniproprietary means omniproprietary
okay,
means
so here
all
we'll go ahead and
properties
throw
are
this up. Okay, so transspatiotemporal, not bound by space or time.
No.
Okay.
Conditions of space-time are not applicable.
Well, how's that different from what I said?
Well, obviously, it's not bound by space and time could be that conditions of space-time can still be applicable causally.
No, that's what it means to. Oh my God.
Logically or causally. So thank you. Now, premise one is this.
What is an omniproprietary identity?
All properties in existence belong to the identity.
All properties in existence belong to its identity?
Yes.
Okay, so your God has the property of being the Holocaust?
Yes.
Okay,
so let's just go.
You worship the Holocaust?
So let's just get to premise
so
one, shall we?
Do you worship God?
Fallacy of that's the fallacy of composition.
It was a yes or no question, Deathless. Do you worship God?
Yes.
Okay, and you said God is the Holocaust, right? God has the identity of the Holocaust.
Fallacy of composition. You lost that point.
You said God has God's identity. God's identity.
Fallacy of
you said all properties.
Are
you said
swans
all,
yellow because their
You
beaks
said
are?
all properties.
Are swans yellow because their beaks
You said all properties.
Are swans yellow?
Okay,
Are swans
so
yellow?
if this
They're
is
not.
the best you
They're
can
black
do,
and white.
Deathless, like this is not going to work for you.
More
like,
duck.
What we need to do is actually,
Duck.
Okay, so
Let's
you
just
don't
put
want to have
premise.
the conversation.
So here's my argument.
All right, so
Here's my
I'm going to
argument.
ask you the question one more
If
time.
the set of
so,
all logically
all right, well,
possible
clearly we're not
worlds
going to be able
exist.
to actually have a conversation. That's unfortunate. We did one time. It was actually okay one time. If you say that all properties belong to its identity and a property of being the Holocaust exists, then that property, being the Holocaust, belongs to God's identity. Ooh. Hey, thank you so much, Just a Decent Dude. Massively appreciate it. Thank you, KC, for the Djembe Master. And Just a Decent Dude, thank you so much for, man, all the massive support. That's a lot. I really, really appreciate you. Holy shit. God damn. Thank you. Thank you so much. Also, I Got Peas. Really appreciate your support. More from Just a Decent Dude. Thank you so much. Philo Dragon, just killing it. Thank you massively, massively for the support. Again, Neurospicy Cat Lady, Doc Nancy, Lem, Lone Drow, appreciate you. And Chumbawamba, thank you for the roses. Okay. Where was I at? Here. Okay, so what's happening? Okay. What is happening? All right. So currently no requests. So if, well, at least nobody I'm going to bring up. So if you are an adult and you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, feel free to request. And I would love to have the debate, as long as you, like I said, you're an adult, you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. What are you talking about, Kant? He said yes to what? He said yes that he worships the Holocaust, and then he said that it was a fallacy of composition. Yeah. Yeah, because if because his God is a transspatio-temporal omniproprietary identity, and he defined omniproprietary identity as all properties in existence belong to its identity. So that means that God is identical with all properties in existence. Well, being the Holocaust is a property in existence, so that means that God is identical to being the Holocaust, and that's something that Deathless worships. So, fucking disgusting. That's what I would have to say about that. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And he agreed that it was right. And then when he realized how bad it sounded, he tried to run away from it. Good times. How did the conversation with Constantine go? We never got past me asking him to justify the validity of his argument. Yeah, he could not justify the legitimacy or the I cannot, my brain just like stopped. He could not justify the validity of his argument. As soon as I asked him to do that, he just had a meltdown, and that was the entirety of the conversation. From there was just him melting down over not being able to demonstrate the validity of his argument. Yeah, he said it. Well, actually, Goatman, he said it was modus ponens. Yeah. But yeah, currently don't have anybody requesting. So if you are an adult and you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, feel free to request. I would be happy to have the debate. Like I said, as long as you believe in one of those gods and you are an adult and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Yeah, I'm with you, Dream Panther. I do not believe that the devil exists. So I certainly don't worship the devil. And honestly, oh, well, you're 100% right about that, Poopman Jones. Whether it's Constantine or Q-Top or Deathless Light or the KG idiots or any of those people, it's all just rhetorical nonsense. It's nonsense. Actually, it's nonsense in the Wittgensteinian sense. I just was talking about that today. Speaking of today, oh my God. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of yapping until somebody comes up. Oh, 100% Con. A lot of them do. Yep. So today I finished, yeah, W. Witty. Wasn't that a great book club today, Hercules? I thought that was awesome. I really like talking about that stuff. And I know that I kept harping on 114. I don't know if any of you have ever read Philosophical Investigations by Ludwig Wittgenstein, but 114 in there goes hard. What book club? Oh, it's in Ian's Discord server, not the main book club that they're doing, but there's a side book club where they're doing Philosophical Investigations. But yeah, it was a good conversation today about the sections of Philosophical Investigations that we read. But I also today finished oh yeah, Truth. I was trying to join the that logic the study group, but my connection was horrible and I couldn't stay, which is unfortunate. I would love to do a book club. In fact, if I could do a book club, I would totally make it about the book I just finished today, A Case for Necessitarianism, by Karofsky. Oh my God. Karofsky is so intelligent. Okay, Grace, that would be fucking amazing. I would love to do that. I just finished yeah, I'm on board, Lou. So yeah, I finished A Case for Necessitarianism today by Amy Karofsky, and that book blew my fucking mind. Okay, well, that sounds fucking awesome. So I think I'm probably, and this is gonna sound crazy, I know it is, but I think I'm probably an existence monist now. Karofsky got me. Like, she gave this really good case for monism, and she doesn't have her view in the book. She says she doesn't have her view 100% nailed down, but she kind of gives an idea of where she's at. And I was already Yeah, that would be the goal, Oppo. It would be to try to exactly like that, Equinox. You nailed it. At least I think that's right. Now I'm questioning myself and I have to look it up. Yeah, Amy Karofsky, AMYKAROFSKY. The book is called A Case for Necessitarianism. Fantastic book. It's not a super long book, but it is fairly dense. But it not only did she fully convince me of necessitarianism, but she also yeah, I got the book, Grace. I can handle that part. That's not a problem. Yeah, she gives this this argument in the last chapter about monism, and all is ultimately composed of cat hair. I mean, if it wasn't to begin with, it will be eventually. But she gives this amazing argument for monism, and it's not even like this. Like, I don't think she was even intending for it to be like, hey, you should believe in this. But she was like, here's my position, because like she's responding to some criticisms of her position of the necessitarianism, and how like she's, one of the criticisms is that, well, it's going to collapse to monism. And she said, yeah, it does collapse to monism, and that's actually fine. That's not a problem. And then she explained why she doesn't think it's a problem that it collapses to monism. And I was already a priority monist, so I already like was monist leaning, or already had a monist position. And the way that she described it and all my recent thoughts about ontology made so basically like my recent thoughts about ontology from the books I've read there, plus Karofsky's case for monism in her book, I'm pretty sure that I have to be an existence monist. And I was looking into some different things and trying to figure out what my exact position would be, and I basically ended up at a necessitarian fictionalist monism. So my current position about, I would say like my metaphysical position is necessitarian monist, or necessitarian fictional monism, or fictionalist monism, because I think that the only actual fundamental thing that exists, or the only like actual thing that exists, is the universe itself. And then all the distinctions that we think about are basically just useful fictions that allow us to live our lives. Her name is Amy Karofsky. Amy Karofsky. Case for necessitarianism. So I wrote the author and the book title. Explain it like you're 5. Okay, so everything that's real has to be real, and nothing that isn't real could be real. And in fact, the only thing that's really real is the universe itself, but it's okay for us to pretend other stuff is real, because it allows us to do stuff. So I do hold to necessitarianism, but also existence monism. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty much locked into that view now. But okay, so I think what we would say is it's revolutionary necessitarian ontological fictionalist monism. Okay, and so to break that down, revolutionary just means most people talk like tables and cats and people really exist, but they don't, and we should probably acknowledge that. So that's what the revolutionary part means. Necessitarian, everything that exists has to exist exactly as it is, and nothing that doesn't exist can possibly exist. ontological. I guess this isn't really doing a whole lot. Just means we're talking about what does and doesn't exist. So actually we could probably just delete. That's redundant. So we'd say fictionalist. We engage in useful fictions by pretending things like tables and cats and people exist because it allows us to live our lives. And monism, we'll probably put existence. Monism, the only thing that actually literally exists is the universe itself. So that is the view that Karofsky has convinced me of today in her book. But the way that I would what I would actually probably want to call it would be a necessitarian fictionalist monism. So this is probably what I would actually want to call the view. But these are the positions that I hold. Well, I'm like 95% sure that I'm on board with all of this. I have some thinking to still do, and I'm actually working on trying to like synthesize a bunch of stuff from that book. Yeah, exactly, Poopman Jones. There's only one actual existing thing, which is the universe itself. And then everything else is, our labels and distinctions we use as useful fictions to allow us to go about our lives. Okay, so if you are in the guest queue, do moral facts exist? Super interesting question, First Axiom, and that's something that I was really thinking about. So, I gotta remember, I don't think we live in a gunky world. Wait, now I have to remember, I get those terms mixed up. Gunk means everything has smaller parts, and junk means everything is part of a larger whole. So, okay, so gunk means that everything can be broken down into further parts. So like, no matter how far you break something down into parts, it can still be further broken down into parts. Yeah, infinitely divisible, exactly. Yep, there are no simples. Everything is made out of stuff that can be is divisible into further parts. And then junk would be that everything. So the only reason why I wouldn't say it's junky, which would be everything is a part of a bigger whole, is that I think that the only thing that actually exists is probably just the universe itself. But priority monism would be junky. But about the morals thing. So I actually kind of have to take like a bit of a fictionalist position there. But it's complicated. So I would still call myself like, if we're having a normal conversation, I would say that I'm a moral realist. But if we're having like a high level ontological conversation, I would specify that like, existence monism kind of overrides that, and it's like inside the like, it's like internal. No, so I think metaethical questions are internal questions, like internal to the frameworks that we work in. And so internal to those frameworks, then yes, I am a moral realist. So it's like it's a question of like whether we're internal or external. Okay, but I will bring up the next guest. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Looks like the first person who requested in the queue is Saba. Hi, Saba, how old are you? Or not, never mind. Hi, Theosophical, how old are you?
How you doing? I'm over 40.
How old are you?
I'm over 40.
Okay, yeah, you can just tell me.
41.
Cool. And then I believe you're Christian. Is that correct?
Yeah. Hey, just wanted to ask you a quick question. You mentioned earlier that psychophysical harmony like relies or assumes dualism.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said you got that from the literature?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let me read from the actual literature. This is from Crummett and Cutter. All right, this is from their introduction. In our initial presentation of the argument, we rely on two controversial metaphysical assumptions: dualism and the causal completeness of the physical. The view that every physical event involved in human behavior and brain functioning has a sufficient causal explanation in terms of prior physical events. While these assumptions are convenient for an initial presentation of the argument, we show in section 3 that they are ultimately inessential. The argument still works.
No, it doesn't.
No. You're the one saying that the argument relies on dualism. I'm reading from the actual literature. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, they say that the argument. Hold on. No, hold on. Calm down.
Works.
Calm down.
This is what they say.
Calm down.
Let me finish.
Calm down.
No, let me finish.
Calm down.
Let me finish.
No, I'm just
quoting
calm it
them.
down.
Let
I
me
know
finish
that you
their
are.
quote.
I'm trying to explain.
Let me
I'm trying to
finish their
explain.
quote. No. You claimed it assumes dualism.
And it says it assumes dualism.
They're saying. No, let me finish. Don't run. Here is their quote. The argument still works if we accept alternative views about consciousness, such as physicalism, idealism, or Russellian monism, you freaking spastic walrus.
Are you going to cry?
You're such a liar.
Are you going to cry?
Read this literature.
Are you going to cry?
You don't read it.
Oh, it's okay, buddy. You don't have to cry. You're all right.
Posture.
Yeah. So what they say?
Quoted you. They say it's inessential.
They say that they assume it.
Walrus.
Okay. So do you want to have a conversation, or do you just want to yell?
No, I don't. You're not worth
okay.
having a convo for.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. They say that they assume it for the argument, and then they claim. And then they claim that they later show that you don't have to assume it. If they didn't have to assume it for the argument, that they wouldn't have had to assume it for the argument, right? Was I being ableist? If I did, I didn't mean to. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. No, I was just making sure. Yeah, no, they say that they assume dualism, and then they claim that they can show that they can get it without dualism, and they fail. It's the same as when they claim in the paper that evolution isn't an argument against it, and they're just clearly wrong. Okay. Well, that was fun, huh? Let me see. Do I have the... but yeah, the argument does assume, it assumes dualism. And that's why when Cutter debated Oppie, Oppie pointed out that the argument doesn't work if you're a type A physicalist, and Cutter agreed. Yes, 100%. It doesn't work unless you are not like a type A physicalist. No, psychophysical harmony is completely dead on arrival if you're running it against someone who is like a type A physicalist. I hold to the token identity theory of mind. And so since I'm a type A physicalist, or would that fall under a different? Now I have to double check. Make sure that I have this correct. Oh, no, that's exactly what type A physicalism. Yeah. Oh, no, not type A. Let me verify. Go to conscious. Token identity. Yep. Okay, well, either way, yeah, that's the type of physicalism that that their argument can't work with. Because again, the argument assumes that there is a difference between, correct first axiom. I do not think that there's a hard problem of consciousness. I think that the hard problem of consciousness is an example of someone making up a disease so they could sell the cure. But yeah, you cannot argue for psychophysical harmony with someone who doesn't believe that there is, like, the argument for psychophysical harmony is saying, isn't it wild that there is all of this psychophysical harmony? There must be a God that created that. But if you don't believe that there is a difference between physical and mental things, there's no harmony to explain. So the only way that the argument would have any force is if you believe that there's a difference between physical and mental things. Otherwise, there is absolutely nothing to be explained. There is no psychophysical harmony. Therefore, we don't need an explanation for it. Okay. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Inspiring. How old are you?
I am 27. How you doing?
You're just fine. And which God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian God, but I wanted to say this real quick. Logically, prior to there being any evidence for the Christian God, there has to be evidence for bare theism. So are you fine having a conversation about bare theism first?
Yeah. It's important, I think, to know what you actually believe, but we can definitely have a conversation where you kind of like go in stages. I don't see any issue with that. Cool. And then
first of all, just a quick clarification question. Do you think just bare theism, understood as essentially God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent, just on the surface predicts for value states?
No.
Okay, why?
Well, I don't have any reason to think that it would. Right? Like,
you can have justification for believing you don't have any reason for that being, and what is that?
I'm sorry, what?
I said you just said that you don't have any reason to believe that. You can have justification for lacking a reason, so I'm wanting to know what that justification is.
No, I'm just saying I take the null hypothesis.
What's your epistemology? There's no null hypothesis in this situation.
You're making a you're pointing to a positive claim and asking me if I accept it, and I'm saying no, I don't have reason to accept that claim. If you ask me if I accept the claim, the negation, like a negating claim, I would tell you the same thing.
Okay, let's do it this way, because I think that this part is pretty simple. So let's just take the fact that God is omnibenevolent. What do you understand that term to mean? What do you think the semantics are of that term?
Something like morally perfect.
Okay. And are morally perfect beings motivated towards the good or no?
I don't know that we would say that like a being that is, I don't think necessarily they're motivated toward anything. I would say that a morally perfect being, if they were in a morally relevant situation, would do the morally perfect thing. But I don't think that that means that if you have a morally perfect being that exists, it's automatically motivated to take specific actions unless it finds itself in a situation that is morally relevant. Like being morally perfect can't tell you, like, okay, so for example, let's say that we have a state of existence where it's this being, this God being, like this minimal theistic God that exists in a state of existence without creation. Are you okay stipulating that for the sake of
Yep.
Okay, so let's imagine that state of existence. In that state of existence, there are no morally relevant situations. So I would have no reason to think that a being in that situation would have reason, based on being all good, to take any action whatsoever.
Okay, so let's go back for a second here. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So do you think that evil is evidence against God?
Is evil probably? I mean,
Okay.
I think it would.
Well,
I would
why-
say
why
that
would
it's
that be the case?
unexpected. I would say that it's unexpected. If a universe exists and there is an all good God, then evil would be unexpected.
Okay, so let's just do all things being equal, right? In our background knowledge, a universe exists, and we're entertaining the hypothesis: does a God exist? The kind I just told you, essentially, the triomnies.
Well,
or
now
not?
you're changing the situation that we were discussing previously, though.
Yeah,
you were
yeah, it's a
asking. Hold on. So you were asking previously if I thought that just the bare theistic God, just by virtue of being all good alone, would have motivation to take certain actions.
That was the hypothetical you brought up. I'm also allowed to bring up other hypotheticals.
No,
So I'm
that
bringing
was
up this
that was the original question that you asked, and now you're changing it. Is what I'm saying.
So here's what happened. Here's what happened. You said, "Are you fine stipulating?"
No,
right
I'm
now
saying before that. I'm saying before that.
I
Prior to
didn't
that,
make any.
Yes, prior to that, you asked me if a being morally perfect would have reason to value to take value whatever, I can't remember exactly what you said, but about taking
Okay, so
actions.
that's a problem if you can't remember what I said.
Yeah,
then
I
we
don't
should-
remember
should
the
go
exact
back.
words. I'm sorry, but I remember that you asked me a question about whether just by virtue of being morally perfect on its own, if that was enough to motivate certain actions.
I never said those words.
Okay, well, that was my
never
understanding
made
of
that
your
argument.
question.
Right. So that's the reason why I'm setting up the hypothetical. I'm saying, in our background knowledge, according to this hypothetical, right, we find ourselves in a universe. Okay, so this is what the atheist philosopher Paul Draper does. He says, okay, let's just say we have a theist named Theo and a naturalist named Natty, and they're walking along, right, and they find themselves in a universe, right, and they observe states of affairs like evil, and they ask themselves, which one of our hypotheses makes this antecedently more likely? Would Natty be more confident in the naturalistic hypothesis, or would Theo be more confident in the theistic hypothesis? I'm asking you, why do you think in that situation evil would be less or more surprising given theism?
Because as I already said, if you're in a situation where an all good God exists and a universe exists, then you would expect there not to be any unnecessary evil in that universe.
Okay, that's stipulating your position. I'm asking for a justification as to why that is.
Right, because we would say that an all good God, in a situation where an all good God exists and a universe exists, if there's an all good, all knowing, all powerful God, the expectation would be that the existence of that and the universe would lead that God to control and take power or take action in the universe in such a way to ensure that there was no unnecessary suffering. That would just be the expectation of the hypothesis, because an all good, morally perfect being is going to be motivated to, in a situation where, like I said, a universe exists, it's going to be motivated to get rid of any evil that does exist and do whatever it can to prevent evil from obtaining in the future.
Okay, why?
Because that's what it means to be morally perfect.
According to what?
According to the definition of moral perfection.
The definition? Really? So you think that every Christian theologian has postulated your definition of what it means to be morally perfect? Because it seems like you're just arguing from your definition of moral perfection, not from the definition of moral perfection. Can you name me a philosopher that gives a specific definition of moral perfection for me?
So do you want to have any kind of substantive conversation, or is this
This
just
is very
meta?
substantive. I'm asking you for
No,
definitions.
this is just
like
meta.
step one in a logical argument.
Yeah, no,
this is a
just
very
meta.
ambiguous term or phrase. So
Yeah, this
can
is
you
just
define an
meta.
ambiguous term or
This
phrase?
is just meta. You're the one that brought up.
Wait.
You are
An
the one that
argument
brought.
that depends on an ambiguous term or phrase cannot be defined.
If you want to define the term, that's fine.
I'm asking you where you're getting your definition from. You're just saying this is what it means. There's no such thing as a view from nowhere. So you can't just say this is what it means. Where are you getting this definition?
So you don't have anything of substance? Like, if you want to define the term, that's fine, and we can work with your definition.
This is all red herring. You can hone back in on the conversation, lock in, bro. Where are you
so
getting this
provide the
definition
definition. Go for it.
Dude, you cannot ask me a question in response to my question. Give me, where are you getting this definition of moral perfection from?
So if you want to use a specific definition, we totally can. What is the definition for moral perfection that you'd like
Dude,
to use, since you're the one that brought the term into the conversation?
All the charity in the world if you just can answer a simple question.
Since you brought it into the conversation, you're more than welcome to define the term if you want to use it a specific way.
I will give you.
If you think I'm using it wrong, then by all means define the term.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, if you think I'm using the term wrong, by all means define it.
Host, this is very easy for you. You have a very passionate attraction towards this
all
definition.
Right, so hey,
where are you getting it from?
If you think that the term is being used wrong, as the person who brought the term into the conversation, I'm more than happy to let you define it, and we can move forward in the conversation using that definition.
Great. Yeah, we can do that. Just real quick, where are you getting the definition from?
All right, so you don't want to actually move forward, is what you're saying?
I want this question answered.
All right, cool. So I will give you the opportunity to provide the definition that you want to use for the conversation. If you don't want to do that, then I'm not sure that there's any way that we can move forward.
Okay, so I'll extend you the opportunity for you to give me an answer.
Right, fantastic. So just absolutely unwilling to define the terms that he's using and then complaining about the definition. Like, fine. Yeah, if you don't want to give the definition for the term that you brought into the conversation, then I don't know why you're bitching about definitions. Bad faith for Christ indeed. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I don't currently have anybody requesting. If you are 18 plus, believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and have some argument or evidence for God's existence, feel free to request. You think the definitions are the kinds of things that you provide justification for? Fantastic. No way. No fucking way. Breezy, holy shit. Breezy just sent another $100 on Cash App. Thank you so fucking much. Honestly, like, as I was saying earlier, college for me starts tomorrow. This has been kind of a crazy time, and it makes such an enormous difference, all the support that people are sending, and you, Breezy, have supported so massively. I don't even know how to thank you. Genuinely, I'm not sure how I could even hope to thank you. I will be studying philosophy in the first semester. I will be taking an ethics class. I'm gonna try to take one philosophy class per semester, and for this one it will be ethics. Yeah, makes such a huge difference. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody supporting. Thank you so much to Andrea and Chevrolet and Lou. Thank you Wit and Lou again. Just a Decent Dude supporting so much. Thank you so much for that. Pokegurumi and Chumbawamba, massively appreciate it. I really, really, really appreciate everybody's support. Thank you Lem for supporting again, and Poopman Jones. Thank you so much. Genuinely makes such a huge difference to me. I know I've said this before, but like when I very first started streaming, I had 50 followers, and I thought if I could ever get 20 people watching at once, I would be successful, right? Like if I could get 20 people watching at the same time, I would consider that to be a success. And like the fact that there's like 160 people in here right now, we had over 500 people yesterday for like an hour. It's been absolutely insane. I don't know, and like I'm over holy shit, over 7,100 followers now. Absolutely insane. Yeah, that's exactly it, Vertical Twin. We talked about moral perfection until I said something he didn't like, and then decided that I needed to define the term that he brought into the conversation. Yeah, Christian. Yeah, I know that some of you folks were here when I had like almost no followers. I don't know if this is an unintentional request or intentional. Hi, Doc Nancy. Oh, maybe it was unintentional. I was desperate to make a theist a mod. What? Oh, Poopman Jones was out there promoting me? Oh, no worries, Doc Nancy. You're all good. Well, thank you, Poopman Jones. Massively, massively appreciate it. Yeah, Philodragon. Yes, apologists would love for semantic realism. Yeah. That's true. Red was the first mod. That is true. Red was here. You were here for my first stream, weren't you? Oh, I thought you meant something different, CT. Yeah, Red's been here from the beginning. Yeah, yes, Red. Yep, Constantine was also here on my very first stream. He ran the exact same argument back then too. Which is funny to think about. Yeah, Moon, you've been here for a long time, definitely since the early. Well, I've seen you here for a bit, Kant, and I appreciate you. You're one of the newer ones, Pokey, that's for sure. Yeah, W. Lou for bringing amazing people in here like Grace and Ashley, and I don't even know who all else. Yeah, you've been here for a while, Kant. Grace was the first mod. Oh man, got some revisionist history happening. I don't know. Maybe I will go ahead and give a reset here. Or do I actually even just like accidentally lead my live? Hey, I'm glad you're here. You miss the hair in the pure darkness. That's true. I used to have a lot of hair and everything like the black background and everything. But okay, so we'll go ahead and give a reset on the TikTok, and I will be back momentarily. Before I do that, though, thank you so much to Lone Drow for the woolly hat. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Zach, for the support, and Poopman Jones as well. You guys rule. W massively to my mod team. You guys fucking rule. All right, I will be right back. Just one moment. Okay. Oh. Yeah, Breezy dropping bombs indeed. All good, Red, all good. Oh, you probably can't even hear me. Okay. All right, so we can close this out, do that. Oh yeah, we want to do one of these. And then get the TikTok reset. Okay. That's funny. Hey, I got Peases first, and Poopman Jones with the first support. This is typical with resets. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming back, and appreciate you guys. Got the likes coming in already, and support from Poopman Jones and Lou and I Got Peas. Appreciate you massively. Thank you very much. I have no idea, Sloth. That's a great question. Let me double check. Okay. I will throw this up there. I'm good there. Okay. I'm sorry everybody's got the heat. It's not super hot here, so that's nice. It was like too sunny today though, but I know that's a like such a first world problem. I was out at my dad's house today, and he wanted to hang out outside for a bit, and I was not too bright out. Should have grabbed my sunglasses. I probably would have been fine. Well, unfortunately, I know too much about humidity. But yeah, if you are 109 level your minds, that's crazy. 109 is massive. It gets to be like most winters, it gets like -20 here with like -50 wind chill. Like -50 wind chill is fucking wild. That doesn't happen every year, but it does happen sometimes. And then in the summer it can get up into the low, like, 105 with tons of humidity. It's fucking crazy. I'm in the Midwest. I'm fine with cold weather because I grew up with it. Put hoodies on when it drops below 90. Oh my god. You must be in like Arizona level your minds. That's wild. Oh yeah, Nebraska's interesting. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some folks in here who will have some good conversations. If you are 18 plus and you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism and have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in them, feel free to request. I would be happy to have the debate. Obviously, it's my position that there is no reason to believe in such a being, but I would be happy to hear your justification. And if you can actually give me a reason to change my position, I will do so immediately. Like I was saying earlier, I changed one of my positions today because I was given reason to do so. Right? Thanks, help me. Could I play? All right, we're going to do this while we wait. My band currently has an album that we're working on, and I was getting some mixes today. So let me know if you guys can hear this. I play drums. Philo, you're fucking doxing me. Philo, can you delete that comment, please? just fully dox me. Well, that's fun. Yeah. I have no idea. All right. I'll be right back. Okay. Well, hey, maybe we'll actually get debates this time. Hey, thanks, Pooh Man Jones. No, I love Philo Dragon, and he knows it. Here we are again, indeed. Well, hopefully we'll get some folks up who want to debate. But yeah, just and we are back. All right. Well, hopefully we can have some good debates. If you are 18 plus, and if you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, and have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief, feel free to request up. Okay. Okay, so we'll bring up the first guest of the reset, and hopefully we can have some good debates. Philo Dragon knows I love him. No question about that.
Yo, hello.
Hi, Ezra. How old are you?
I'm 18.
And which God do you believe in?
I believe in the Christian God.
Okay, and then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us a reason to believe in a God?
Honestly, I would say my best undeniable proof would be Shroud of Turin completely. Like, it's not even a debate. Like, just...
Really? Oh, and then he left? All right, fair enough. Yeah, that had to be a troll, yeah. Okay. Thank you, people, for coming in and supporting immediately. Thank you for tapping the screen also. Already up over a couple thousand likes. Appreciate you all for that. That's quick. If we can get to 10,000 here soon, hopefully that'll help us in the algorithm. Thank you, Poopman Jones and Bradley Cooper, so much for the support. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Ashley and Lou and Lem. You guys are awesome. Well, Hadrian, I'm glad you're with us. Well, I don't know why. Hey, I got peas. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Andrea. But yeah, just as always, looking to have debates with folks who believe in a God. And so if you are 18 plus, you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, please feel free to request, as long as you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. All right. Yeah, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult. You believe in... Oh, I was about to bring the person up and they left. Okay, well, sorry about that. Oh, now that... Okay, so make sure you're an adult, you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence for God's existence. Hi, how old are you?
I hate niggers. I hate niggers.
Okay, well, you're just clearly a piece of shit. I don't know why TikTok is doing this thing where it won't let me drop people right away. It's really fucking annoying. Okay. Thank you, Ashley. And Grace on top of it. Thank you. Yeah, it wouldn't let me drop him. It's so fucking annoying. Yes. Yep. 3 people blocked him, so we're good. Or 2 people, sorry. All right. So yeah, if you are 18 plus, you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God, feel free to request. I would be happy to have the debate. Obviously, my position is that not only that there is no reason to believe in a God, but my position is that we in fact have good reasons to take the positive position that no gods exist. But I will absolutely change my position if given justification to do so. I was just talking earlier about how, about how I literally today am in the process of like changing my position on the I don't know, like metaphysical structure of reality. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely willing to change my position. I have no idea what that means, Curry. Okay. All right. So if you are in the guest queue, or you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult and you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Okay. All right. Hi, Jaden. Hi, Pretty. How old are you?
Hi, I'm 21.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
I believe in the God of the Bible, Jesus Christ.
Cool. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide a reason to believe in a God?
So, I'm not going to lie. I can't just give you a cold hard evidence to believe in a God. But I do have a second question to pose to you. Would you consider that you're not going to find a cold hard evidence to believe in a God, and that you may have to go on a little bit more of a personal journey to cultivate a relationship or to figure out if he is real? Because I'm sure you read the Bible, because you wouldn't do this debate if you didn't, crack open the Bible yourself. But, if you read the Bible, do you agree that God is a God who hides his face per himself, like he said this?
No, the Bible says that God makes himself known and has made himself known to everyone, and that he makes it obvious that he exists. So if the God of the Bible exists, then it would be obvious that he exists, according to the Bible. And then another issue here is that, like you said, that I would have to go on some personal journey to know God exists and to have a relationship with him. Well, first off, obviously I can't have a relationship with someone that I don't know that they exist. Like, that's just not possible. So I would need to have some reason to think that God exists before I could even start the process of trying to have a relationship with him. And then in terms of like having reason to think that he exists, I am always going to take the position, no matter what the topic is, no matter what the claim is, I'm always going to take the position that I'm not going to agree with the claim until I have justification to believe in it. So what I would need is justification to think that it's true that a God exists. And currently, I don't have anything like that.
Okay. And so so let's pivot from that. So would you say that let's say that God is real. Would you say that God is real? Let's pretend he is real, since you don't believe that he's real. Okay, so he created the earth, he created the heavens, the planets, everything else. Obviously, this is not a being that can be put in a box. I'm a human being, you're a human being. So it would be kind of, and I'm not insulting you.
Wait,
This
hold
is
on,
just
though.
for like
Well, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, but wouldn't we expect that if God revealed details about himself, that we would be able to use that as information about God?
Sure.
Okay, and do you think that when the Bible tells us things about God and what he said and what he's done, that it's correct?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so when God tells us, or when the Bible tells us all these details about God, about him being perfectly good, about him being perfectly loving, about him being all powerful, all these different things, don't you think then that we should be confident that if God exists, if the Christian God exists, he actually has those qualities?
Of course, yeah. Because
Okay.
that's what it says. It says he's not a man that he should lie. So we should take those things to be true if we believe, yeah.
Okay, and so that means that God, if he exists, he's all good, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then just a question for you. Do you think if I was standing in a room and there was a child in that room in the process of starving to death, and I had the ability to give that child food and water and as much care and healing as is imaginable, but I chose not to, and I instead of helping the child, I decided to stand and watch until they starved to death, would that make me good, neutral, or evil?
Well, it would depend on if that was what was actually happening or not.
I just said that is what's happening in the situation. So in the situation, I'm standing. Hold on. No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you if I'm in a situation where
God is not you.
I didn't
You are
ask
not
that.
God.
I didn't
You
ask
are a
that.
human
I
being.
didn't ask that. I'm
You did
asking.
ask that. You
No,
said
I didn't say
I.
anything
You
about
spoke in
God.
first person.
I
You
didn't
spoke
say
in first
anything
person.
about God. I didn't
You
say
spoke in
anything
first
about
person.
God.
You
I
said
didn't
if
say
I were
anything
in the
about
room
God.
with
I didn't say anything about God.
excuse me.
I didn't
Okay.
say anything about God. I didn't say anything about God. Do you understand that I didn't say anything about God? Oh, you're just going to run away? I mean, fair enough. Why does it still have the invite box there? That's fucking weird. Okay. It seems like TikTok is like glitching out or something. I don't know. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or the Bible, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. Oh, well, the person who's requesting left. Fair enough. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, Benjamin. She saw how bad it was, and she knew she wasn't going to be able to answer the question, so she decided to leave. Okay. All right. So once again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or the Bible, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. She was taken by humor. Oh, no. I hope she's okay. Hi, Jay-Z. How old are you? Hello? 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 Good times. Okay. So yeah, if you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God.
Yo, can I suck the mic?
Okay. TikTok is glitching out really bad on my end. Hello? Hello? Jay, hello. Do you guys hear this person? Because I don't hear anything. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Once again, if he's making a great argument, oh man, best argument I've heard in weeks. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Yeah, you might have to change your mic or something. I don't know. Hi, Alexander.
Hello, can you?
I can. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, and which God do you believe in?
A Christian God.
Okay.
So,
and then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us a reason to believe in a God?
well, the best argument. I don't know if there's a best argument I can think of, but what I can say is that it's a matter of belief. It's a matter of faith.
Okay.
It's
well, I will never believe anything on faith. So that couldn't possibly provide a reason to believe. I mean, it can't provide a reason to believe for anybody. Yeah. So what I'm looking for is reasons to believe. So what would be? Do you know of any reason to think that a God exists?
Actually,
what?
The good health. Good health.
What? Why would good health give a reason to believe in a God?
Well, if you study it, you can, there's plenty of things in the world to believe and to not believe, and to. There's a lot of confusion.
That doesn't answer my question, Alexander. My question was, why would good health give me a reason to believe in a God?
Well, you have to have good health to live a good life.
And why would that make me believe in a God?
Because God is that helper. He's the helper for that.
Okay, well, obviously, I can't believe that's true if I don't think that God exists. So you would need to give me a reason to think that God exists first. So what would be the reason to think that a God exists?
Well, the best argument is good for you. That's the best argument. It's good for you to believe in God.
No, I'm not interested in what you think the outcomes of believing in God are. That doesn't matter to me. All I'm interested in is whether excuse me, I was actually still talking. All I'm interested in is what I have reason to think is true. I'm not interested in what you think is useful. So what would be the reason to think that it's true that a God exists?
Well, if it works, is it true for you?
You're not answering my question. Is there any reason to think that it's true that a God exists?
Well, for me, it's true.
Okay, so you don't have a reason to think that a God exists?
I do have a reason.
Okay, so what's the reason?
The reason is good functioning, good health.
Okay, so, all right, fair enough. Have a good one.
Bye.
Obviously, we're not making any progress because that's not a reason to believe. Why is this being stupid? Okay. Got it restriction, so I appealed it. We'll see what happens with that, I guess. If you are in the guest queue, or if you are thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Judaism, or the Bible, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. I think the next person was this one.
Hello. I consider myself an agnostic, a godlike agnostic.
How old are you?
I am 29. I'll be 30 in November.
Okay, and you don't currently believe in a God?
I believe in the God within, not a true person, more of the God within yourself.
Okay, well, I'm talking about something like an ultimate immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe.
A different style of God, I see.
No, like the normal generic Western conception of God, the God of philosophy.
I was thinking, because the way I read, because I've read the Bible.
Okay, but it sounds like you don't. But the thing that I just described, you don't believe in anything like that.
Not a person of God, more of the God within yourself.
Right. Okay. So you don't believe in an immaterial mind that created and sustains the universe?
No.
Okay.
I believe that.
All right. Thank you, and have a good one.
Sorry.
No, you're good. If you are in the guest queue, or if you're thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for believing in a God. Thanks for being kind, Cherry. Appreciate you. And being just straightforward. That's I definitely respect that. Yeah, that's probably true, Benjamin. Okay, what are we at? Oh yeah, this one.
"40 years old. Yes, I believe in a God, ultimate universe God.
Which God?
The one that made the universe. The one that made the whole universe.
Yeah, which one?
And made you. The one that made you. Sitting here talking right now.
Right, but which God do you believe in?
The one that made you.
The Christian, Muslim, or Jewish God?
The Christian.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say that? What would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God?
If you're looking for people for answers, you're not going to find them. You got to find them within yourself.
Okay, so you don't have an argument or evidence? That was it? That was it? That was what you came here for? Ooh. Wow. Impressive. Hey, dude, are you kidding me, Philo Dragon? Oh my God. Thank you so much for the support, dude. Oh man. Massively appreciate it. Thank you so much, Philo Dragon. Thank you to DJ Randy. Thank you, Star Mallory, for the support. Thank you so much to Polymagic, Debbie Perkins, Lem, Mickey B, Dr. Cliff Furby. Appreciate your support. Thank you so much to Dabnese and Poppy Loco, Lone Drow. Really appreciate all those roses. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nick and Andrea and I Got Peas, Lou, Ashley, Poopman Jones, Bradley Cooper. You guys all rule. Thank you so much for the support. Genuinely, it means such an enormous amount to me. I don't know. I talk about this a lot, but like, the support that you guys have given, like, I just genuinely don't even know how to deal with it. It makes such an enormous difference to me, and I honestly never expected to get that kind of support. So I really appreciate it. You guys fucking rule. Okay, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, please make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. We will bring up this person.
Made in a cookie.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a good time. Go away, and that way we can block you. I don't know why TikTok takes for fucking ever to drop people. God, that's annoying. Super fucking annoying. All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that would provide justification for your God belief.
That's love peace, bro. That's love peace.
Okay. I don't understand why TikTok is being so stupid and it won't just like drop people when I tell it to drop people. It's really fucking annoying. Okay. Once again, if you're in the guest, no, never mind, not requesting anymore. All right. Well, I was hoping that we would get some folks up who actually wanted to have the debate. I feel like we did get some debates earlier, and then it kind of went downhill when those Phil bros came in. All right, maybe we can have a debate. Like I've said 1,000 times, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're an adult, that you, hold on, I gotta hydrate apparently. Okay. Make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief. No, we're rocking old school, straight up water. Woke white man. The only kind of white man that, don't automatically hate. I'm kidding. Okay. I was saying that obviously, well, you guys all know I'm a white man. Hi, Jay. Can I hear you this time? What? Weird. Hello. Hello. Not sure what's going on here. Oh, I heard something. Nothing? Jay. Oh, well, doesn't seem like that's going to work. All right. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you are 18 plus, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and that you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
Oh,
Hi, Jordan. How old are you?
23.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
Christian.
Okay. And then what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide reason to believe in a God?
The Big Bang.
Okay. How would the Big Bang, how would the expansion of the universe give us a reason to believe in a God?
I think that God created that and that made everything.
You said the Big Bang is the evidence, so how does the Big Bang provide evidence?
Like, because you can measure it, it's something that you can see. Like,
Right, but I need you to explain to me how the Big Bang provides evidence for God's existence.
because what created that?
I don't know. You're saying that there's evidence that there was a God, so what's the evidence that there's a God?
Because it created the Big Bang.
Okay, fair enough. Clearly not going anywhere. Okay. So if you are 18 plus and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for the existence of the Christian, Muslim, or Jewish God, feel free to request up. I would be happy to have the debate. Aquinas' 5 ways. You're right. After 25 years of being a former Christian and researching this stuff, this is my first time hearing about Aquinas' 5 ways. You know, Gio, that's a great question, and I have a similar question for you. For anyone who didn't see it, Gio's question is, Ogar, if you want to get to know God truly, why not ask him yourself? Here's the thing, Gio. If you want to know the real creator of the universe, why not talk to Eunice? How much time have you spent trying to form a relationship with Eunice, the universe farting unicorn? Because if you haven't put time and energy into developing a relationship with Eunice, the universe farting unicorn, then I have no idea how you could think that you know the truth about the fundamental nature of reality. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Obviously, Eunice is real. Hi, Miss Satanic. Am I a Godzilla fan? Not particularly. Eunice got me a follow. Fantastic. Eunice does a lot of work. All worship Eunice. Eunice is the best. Genuinely. I don't know how else you think that the universe could come into existence other than being farted out by a magical unicorn. Right? Like how else could it possibly happen? I just can't imagine. There's no way. Praise be to Eunice. All right, so I will give it a little bit here, but maybe we're just winding down for the night. But if anyone actually wants to discuss, reasons to believe in God, feel free to request. It is not turtles, Red. Number 1, aren't you supposed to be in bed, Red? And number 2, it is unicorns all the way down. Get it right. But yeah, just hoping that there are folks who actually want to have the debate. If you are 18 plus and you have some argument or evidence that the Christian, Muslim, or Jewish God exists, please feel free to request. Humor demands a trick. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to oblige. Well, since I'm here, do we want to like open it up for like an AMA kind of thing? I don't know. It's something that has been suggested and maybe people would like. Oh, supposedly there's a bunch of people here now. It seems like it might be bots though, because it's like huge numbers coming in at once. Yeah, it's probably bots. AMA, like an Ask Me Anything, like a Q&A kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. I'm assuming that's bots. Oh yeah, it's bots. 100% bots. Yeah. That's not the kind of question that I was thinking, but fair enough. I am going on walks and going to the gym, doing like a push-pull legs. Pretty simple, nothing too intense. I want to get back to powerlifting, but my shoulder wouldn't allow it right now. Free will versus determinism. So I'm not 100% sure on determinism. And then my free will view is kind of compatibilism. I am a necessitarian, but I'm not necessarily a determinist. I don't know if there are indeterminacies like in quantum physics, but I don't believe that there's anything that could have been different than it is. What are my health goals? I don't know, probably I've lost 50 pounds this year. I'd probably like to lose like another 50. And then what I would love is to get my shoulder to a place where I can get back to powerlifting. How many classes am I taking? I'm taking 3 classes. Hey, thanks, Jordan. I don't know why you think there's a creator at all. No baby steps. Yeah, I mean, we all do what we can do, right? What is happening? Oh, that's bots, Lou. Did I miss? Jim now doing legs and shoulders. That's awesome. Yeah. Would it be more believable to take the ancient aliens position than the God one? Oh, 100%. Ancient aliens are insanely unlikely, but like so much more likely than a God. Like, thought on Boltzmann brains. I have no idea how it could be possible for one to exist. I mean, I guess like epistemically possible, but I doubt that it's like physically possible. And again, as a necessitarian, I just don't think that it's actually possible that such a thing would exist, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I didn't like having long hair. Well, I didn't expect the question, Blackjack. I think it's likely that there are aliens out there. I just don't know if we'll ever find them. Boltzmann brains unlikely. I mean, it just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that would happen. Like epistemically, I can't, based on what I know about the universe, it doesn't seem like there would be one. I was talking to Lou in a different chat. Sorry, I'm being gatekeepy. Okay, well, we do have a requester, so maybe we can have a good debate. If you're requesting to come up, hopefully you believe in a God and have some argument or evidence for that God. Oh, never mind, they left. I guess I was too slow. Why likely there are aliens? Because it seems extremely unlikely to me that this would be the only planet that a God, Jesus Christ. It seems unlikely to me that this would be the only planet that life would develop on. Based on what we know about abiogenesis, it seems very likely that there are probably other planets where life developed. I have never seen Book of Mormon, no. Who created me? My parents. As soon as there's actual evidence for that theology defense, then I'll take it seriously. Until then, no. Well, my parents were created by their parents. Good question, though. Do I think religious belief is genetic? I certainly don't have any reason to think that. If there's evidence, I would need to see it and, find out more about it before I would think so. It seems unlikely to me based on what I know currently, but I don't know. Maybe there is information I don't know. Support the prompt. Yeah, if God exists, then either he was always creating the universe or not always creating. If he was not, or if he was always creating, then the universe always existed. So it wasn't created, which means God doesn't exist. But if he wasn't always creating, he would have to change from not creating to creating. That kind of change can only happen in time. But if time already existed, then the universe already existed, which means God didn't create it. So he doesn't exist. A gullible gene? I don't know. Possible, I guess. All right, well, maybe we have a debate to be had here.
Hey,
Zeno, how old are you?
Hello, I'm 21.
Okay, which God do you believe in?
I'm a Christian, but I'll be using a philosophical debate, so if that's okay.
Yeah, like minimal theism.
Yeah, exactly, sure.
Fair. Which argument would you like to discuss?
Yeah, we can just do a cosmological if you want.
Like the Kalam, or did you have a different one in mind?
The Leibniz one.
Oh, from contingency?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to hold. I mean, if you want to present the argument, you can, but I'm just going to hold that it is an argument. Either it's a self-defeating argument because of modal collapse, or it's an argument for modal collapse. But if it's an argument for modal collapse, then I don't know why, if we already think that the universe is necessary, I have no idea why we would add a God to our ontology. So it just seems like it fails on parsimony. So from my perspective, the only two possible outcomes of the argument are that it's self-defeating or it's self-defeating.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so yeah, we can dive into both of those. Usually, because you are a naturalist, it's gonna be kind of hard to like switch your entire views on like parsimony. But if you want, I can just kind of give you my explanations as to why I think it's sound, despite those two things. I'm not gonna debunk your entire metaphysics, but maybe you could just want to hear my response to this.
Well, so my concern is that the best you can hope for from the argument is to show that a necessary thing exists. But I already agree. I'm a necessitarianism, like full blown, like full on,
sure, yeah,
necessitarian. So I literally think that everything that exists has to be exactly the way that it is and could not have been any other way. And there are no non-actual possibilities.
Yeah. Okay. So to, just express the general, objections to necessitarianism as to why there could be some type of, answer for a theist here. So usually the way I like to go with modal collapse is okay, look, logicians discovered that, I think it was like philosophers of language or something, but they discovered that whenever we're assessing how God's necessary will entails the atheist or the naturalist is going to say, well, this seems like it entails a necessary world. Logicians of philosophy of language said, okay, well, that's if you mess up the definitions of rigid and non-rigid structures. So rigid structures is usually what the theist wants to hold, which is just that necessarily God's will entails W or something. But from that, if you actually read Kripke in his S5 or logic, there's nothing that says there that W is necessary by itself. All we're saying is that necessarily, parentheses, A entails W, or sorry, G entails W, or whatever you want to put.
Right, but hold on. If you have necessarily G and necessarily G entails W, then it would have to follow necessarily W. There's literally no way out of that.
Well, W by itself's entailment isn't like how can I explain this? You can have if it's outside if the box is outside the parentheses, W by itself isn't necessary. You
No,
can
hold
I don't
on,
care
hold
if
on,
you
hold
I
on.
don't care if you look that up by the way. Like I'm pretty sure I'm right there.
No,
I just
no,
heard it a
because
few
this
days
is
ago.
well, no. I mean, unless there's some serious misunderstanding here, you're just flat out wrong. So if we say necessarily G and we say necessarily G implies W, then necessarily W. Like there's literally no possible way that W isn't necessary if you accept both of these premises.
Um well, okay, I just don't think it follows from like Kripke's system
I
that
don't care what
necessarily
you think
W.
follows from Kripke's system. I'm telling you that this is valid and sound. Well, we would say sound as in we're like stipulating these so there's no soundness to assess really, or no truth values to assess because these are stipulative. But this is valid, and since these are stipulative, it's also sound. So yes, from necessarily G and necessarily G implies W, W is necessary. I guess the other thing, if you want to approach this from a different direction, I'd be interested to hear in how you would account for there being for the possibility of things being different even existing. Like how can you even account for the possibility that things could have been different?
Yeah, sure. So whenever we go to that question, it's a question about what's it called? Like God's will and God's will.
No. I'm not talking about God's will. I'm asking just like from a metaphysical perspective, not talking about God or anything else. How do you account for the possibility that things could have been different?
Yeah, sure. Yep. Okay, sure. So that was more concerning the logic. I actually don't hold that necessity view. I just wanted to see what your response to that would be. It seems like
I'm sorry, you don't hold what view?
That God's will in creation was necessary. So that
okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. Is it because is it your position? Is it your position that there are contingent things that exist?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking you to justify. What is it in virtue of which things could be different than they are?
Yeah, so I mean, the first response is going to be like, look, it seems like things can be different.
Okay, but seemings are irrelevant here. I'm asking for justification for what in the structure of reality accounts for things being able to be different.
Yeah, I don't think seemings are relevant because
they absolutely are. Seemings are not. No, because if seemings are relevant, then you're going to say that it seems to you that things could have been different, and I'm going to say it seems to me things couldn't have been different, and then we're just at a stalemate, and we have genuinely unless we have a different argument, and I would be able to provide arguments for why I think things couldn't have been different. So then, pending those arguments, either we're on equal footing, or I'm in the, my position should be favored. So if there's a reason to favor your position that things could have been different, you would need more than seemings.
Yeah, I would just appeal to empirical data then.
What is the empirical data that demonstrates that things could be different than they turned out? Because as far as I know, that's not something that's possible to support empirically.
Okay, maybe empirically wasn't the best word there, but
okay.
Let me think of a different word. I don't know, something adjacent to, like, I don't know, intuition. We could just
right. That's just seemings again. So if we're pitting your seemings against my seemings, we're at a wash. So in order for us to have a reason to prefer one view over the other, it has to be more than seemings.
Well, we can. Okay, if you don't mind, we can analyze why I think my seemings are better.
No, I'm not interested in seemings. I'm asking for actual justification. What is it in virtue of which things could have turned out differently than they did?
Again, I mean, it just seems okay. Whenever I don't know, drink my water, it seems like
it seems
necessary.
We already discussed Zeno. We already discussed that seemings aren't going to get us anywhere, because any justification you can give for your seemings, I can give the exact same justification for my seemings. And so we're just going to be, it's literally just going to be a wash. There's no reason to prefer either of our views if all we're going to say is like, a seemings measuring contest.
I mean, that is, I mean, you could take it that way.
Well, because literally all you're saying literally is my intuition is bigger than yours. It's like I don't really that's meaningless to me.
I'll say one position says that yes, you don't have to drink coffee whenever you choose coffee over tea, the other position says, oh no, actually every single nose hair in your nose right now couldn't have been otherwise. I'm just going to point that out there. I mean, if
right, parsimony actually favors necessitarianism, because you have to posit not only the same structure of reality that I have to posit, you have to posit an extra feature to reality in virtue of which things could have been different, and without any justification to hold to there being such a feature of reality, we shouldn't hold to it. So I'm asking you to justify holding to the position that there is such a feature to reality. It sounds like you don't have any justification, and all you want to say is it just seems like there is such a feature to reality.
I think epistemology is a good reason.
Okay. What is the epistemic reason we have to think that things could have been different?
Sure. So if you say that you can't trust your intuitions insofar as, as it appears to you that things could have been different, if you can't trust those intuitions and you have to appeal to this metaphysical idea, well, then you have to be suspicious about you're coming to those metaphysical ideas. So if you say, well, you can't actually say it just seems to you. Okay, so then you can't say the same thing about...
the best that this can do, Zeno, is tell us that we don't have any reason to believe either of our positions, that we should just be skeptical. And fine. Like, I mean, if your goal here is to just get us to a skeptical position, fine, but that's not actually going to mean much to me, because I know that I actually have justification for my position. But it sounds like the best that you can come up with is to try to say, well, I can't justify my position, but I don't think you can justify yours either. But we haven't even talked about whether I can justify my position. So we're still talking about you justifying your position that there is something in some feature of reality in virtue of which things could have been different than they are. And I'm asking you, okay, so maybe I'll ask this question directly. Do you have any argument or evidence that would show that there is some feature of reality in virtue of which things could have been different?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a few things to unpack there. Number one,
no, there is nothing to unpack. You can either answer the question or admit that you're not sure whether you have such evidence. So the question no, I need you to be there. I'm not playing games. So the question is yes or no. The acceptable answers here are yes, then elaboration, no, then elaboration, or I don't know, and then we can try to clarify. So the question again is, do you have any arguments or evidence that would provide justification to believe that there is a feature of reality in virtue of which things could have turned out differently?
Will I be allowed to talk after I answer direct?
Okay, so that wasn't a yes or a no. I already told you what the options are, so I'm going to ask this one more time. If you cannot give a direct answer, then we all know that means that you know that if you gave the honest answer, it would be bad for your position. So I'll ask one more time. Do you have any argument or evidence that would support the position that there is a feature of reality such that things could have turned out differently than they did?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that argument or evidence?
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to these things, they're nuanced, right? I can't just...
So this isn't you're not providing any argument or evidence right now. What you're supposed to be doing is providing the argument or evidence. Crying and going to meta is not going to help.
I'm not crying. As
okay,
a matter
so
of fact,
then, so fantastic. So since, so fantastic. Yeah, I haven't. You're correct. I haven't even attempted to. We haven't discussed it. Right, because we haven't discussed my position. Absolutely. That's why I've said over and over and over again. That's why I've said over and over and over again that we would be on a par until I present an argument, which I agree I haven't done. So I'm not saying that in this debate there's been some reason to prefer my position. I'm saying that in this debate the best we've got is that we're on a par. So you said that there is some evidence or argument that you have that you can present that would support your position that things could have been different. What is that evidence or argument?
Yeah, so again, I gave you the epistemological arguments.
I didn't hear any epistemological argument.
Yeah, it's the epistemological argument was that if you can't trust your intuition, this is what I was saying, and I was very clear.
Right, but my position isn't based on intuition. My position is not based on intuition. So attacking intuition is nothing to do with my position.
It should be.
So you should be. Okay, so then you need to provide then. No, you know what? I'm not going to allow the pivot. Either you're okay. Here's what's going to happen, Zeno. I'm going to ask you this question one more time, and you're either going to give a substantive answer, or if your answer is not substantive, then we all know that means that you can't give the answer, and you're just too embarrassed to admit that.
I have to make him say
yes
I know.
No. I'm losing. Yeah, definitely. Yes. Everybody thinks I'm losing. So for the last time, what is the argument or evidence that would support the position that there is some feature of reality in virtue of which things could have turned out differently than they did?
Yeah, sure. Again, epistemology, right?
That's actually not an argument or evidence, so thank you for the concession. Just saying the word epistemology doesn't do anything. Yeah, it seems like things could have been different. Here's the thing, guys. Okay. I'm actually working on trying to synthesize an argument to get from zero to full-blown necessitarianism based on that Karofsky book. But just kind of like the rough sketch of it is going to be something like either if there are if it's not the case that everything is necessary, then it is the case that at least some things are contingent. And either there is some like fundamental contingency, or there is so like either there's a fundamental contingency that everything else is based on, or there is like an infinite chain of contingencies, or there are brute contingencies, right? Now, if there is a foundation of contingentarianism, then in fact, unfortunately, that if the foundation of reality is contingent, then there actually would be no way to account for impossibilia, right? Because if the foundation of reality is contingent, then it could be different, and it could allow for impossible things to be possible. It's not possible for impossible things to be possible. That's a contradiction. So it's not possible for the foundation of reality to be contingent. So the foundation of reality is either non-modal or necessary. I think that I would say that it's necessary because it can't be different than it is. Therefore, it has to be what it is. So then the other options are an infinite. In order for there to be contingency in reality, there would have to either be an infinite regressive contingencies or some brute contingencies. And if we're considering whether or not those either of those are options, if we imagine like, okay, what if there was an infinite series of contingencies? Well, if it's the case that there's an infinite series of contingencies, and then we pick one contingent thing C, and we say, what is it in virtue of which C could have been different? And then you say, okay, well, actually, C could have been different because of C star, like the prior thing that on which it is contingent. And then you say, okay, well, how would we know that C star could have been different? How do we justify that? And you say, well, actually, C star could have been different because it's contingently grounded in C star star. But then if we examine C star star, we're going to have the same problem, and we're going to end up at C star star star. And what's going to happen is that you're infinitely deferring the explanation, and then there is no actual explanation for what it is in virtue of which C was contingent. So what that means is that, in fact, since you're not able to give an explanation, that actually collapses into the second option, that there must be some brute contingency. So an infinite regress of contingencies collapses into a brute contingency. And so then we just examine, can there be brute contingencies? And so if we imagine some brute thing that exists, or if we imagine any existing entity, if it's contingent, that means it could have been different. But if it's brute, then that means that there's no reason, explanation, or grounding for the possibility that it could have been different. And if there isn't a reason, explanation, or grounding for the possibility that it was different, then there isn't a possibility that it could have been different. And if there's no possibility for C to be different, that means that it's not contingent. But if it's not contingent, then if it exists and it's brute, it has to be necessary. So what that means is that if any brute thing exists, it has to be necessary. So there cannot be a brute contingency. And that also means that there can't be an infinite series of contingencies. We also know that we can't have a contingent foundation. So that means that the foundation has to be necessary, and that there is no other way for contingency to get into reality. So actually, the only possibility is that the foundation and the rest of reality is all necessary. Now, I know that was a lot, and it was also, not only was it a lot to go over all at once, it was also an extremely rough sketch of the idea. Unfortunately, Fenton, I'm probably not going to repeat all that, but that's the kind of thing that I've been thinking about lately since I read this book by Karofsky. I think it's a fantastic argument. Obviously, it needs to be fleshed out a lot more, but that's something that I've been working on and thinking a lot about. Oh, you're good, Russ Bucket. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much for the support to Infectious Bites and Alan Gibson, Lone Drow, Broken Tree Branch, Uncle Tommy T. Thank you, Laura and Zora. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, everybody, for the support. how would you explain the universe not being contingent to a theist? That's really hard, Javon. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. That's really hard because a theist is not going to listen. Every time you have the conversation with a theist about contingency or necessity and modal collapse, they will run away. Typically, they run away to agent causation, which actually isn't a response to modal collapse, but they pretend that it is. After Finitude, an essay on the necessity of contingency by Quentin. I'm not familiar with that paper. No, First Axiom. All right, if you are in the guest queue, weird. Okay. All right. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you are an adult, that you believe in, make sure that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification for your God belief.
Oh, cool.
Hi.
Have me up here.
Yeah. How old are you?
How's it going, brother?
Going just fine. How old are you?
37.
Cool. And what God do you believe in?
Creator. I don't believe in a God.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Well, I kind of said that wrong.
Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, I already said what the requirements were, and I don't know why TikTok isn't cooperating here.
I know the true.
Okay. I don't know what's happening and why it won't. This is really fucking annoying.
A lot of people get the order messed up, and they don't really know much. They don't read the concordance.
Okay, there we finally go. Holy crap. That took forever. Okay. All right, well, I mean, we'll see if we can have a debate. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about requesting, make sure that you're an adult, that you believe in the God of Christianity, Islam, or Judaism, and you have some argument or evidence that will provide justification to believe in a God. Yeah, it seems like TikTok is lagging massively.
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
Hi there, I'm 18. I spoke with you before. I've changed my name. You were the one who recommended me to Sarah leaving faith.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if you remember me.
I don't. Are you
okay,
Christian?
I am not a Christian though. But I was just kind of curious why you. I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't be here, but I was just wondering why you were like a deist. I mean, I'm sorry, why you're an atheist, not a deist. Because I was looking at like Anthony Flew, him being an atheist for so long, kind of switching to deism, and I know that you disagree with all theist routes, but like, what kind of drives you to convince that there's just no God at all? Oh, actually, you're an atheist, not an anti-theist. So what drives you to not believe in a God?
Yeah, I think you're misunderstanding those terms. An atheist is someone who has the positive position that there is no God. I take it even further and make an epistemic claim that I know there is no God. And then an anti-theist is someone who is opposed, like who thinks that it is harmful for anyone to believe in a God, not just that a God doesn't exist.
I see. Okay, thanks for the clarification then.
But I am those things. I am an atheist who makes a knowledge claim that I know there is no God, and I'm also an anti-theist. I think that it is a bad thing for anyone to believe in a God. That is part of why I do this, because I think that, again, it is harmful for it. Like literally even just one person believing in a God is harmful for all of humanity. So, the reason that I don't believe in a God is that, number one, there is no reason to think that a God exists, and I don't think that it makes sense to hold a position for which there is no justification. And then I hold the positive position that I know there is no God, because as far as I can tell, all the arguments for a God entail contradictions and, just multitude of reasons why they couldn't possibly be true.
Really?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the Thomas 5 ways?
Yeah, they're terrible.
Jesus and whatnot. Really?
Yes, the Thomist arguments, the 5 ways. I mean, even Catholics that know anything about this stuff will tell you, the 5 ways were not an attempt by Aquinas to give arguments that would convince non-believers. They're kind of like Pascal's wager. They're just something for believers to use to comfort themselves, to convince themselves that they're justified, but they can never convince a non-believer, or at least they're not intended to convince a non-believer.
I see. All right. Since I'm not a Christian, Muslim, or Jew, I'm in no real position to debate you. I was just kind of curious on your thoughts on that because I'm still trying to find my way.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to me, not immediately kicking me. I'll leave now and let you debate those others.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, TikTok is like lagging and freaking out. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and end the live. But I appreciate everybody. Thank you to Lem and Infectious Bites and Lone Drow and everybody for the support. Massively, massively appreciated. I will say, as I always do at the end of my lives, remember that tomorrow is not guaranteed. You don't know how many opportunities you have left to let your family and friends know how important they are